Wisconsin.
Tuesday edition. The No Wilde Again edition? Guy takes a lot of days off.
Taking a lot of days.
Jeez. Work a little, dude. The Mother-in-Law Appreciation Edition. Part 2. Laughed out loud listening on the podcast
Total
on the ESPN
lols,
Wisconsin app.
A lot of lols.
A lot of lols. Riding solo in the car. And the Jesse and Pat Murphy interact in the same room last night edition of Wilde and Tausch. 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, the ESPN app, live video streaming, Twitter, Facebook, and a couple of YouTube accounts. ESPN Milwaukee, ESPN Madison. Subscribe to both so you get the best content from all of our ESPN Wisconsin shows. No Jason Wilde again today. He has today and tomorrow off, is my understanding, back on Thursday.
We all thought you were off. Hunter was of the belief that you were off
Yeah,
today.
I heard there was some confusion yesterday.
Yeah, I don't look at the schedule.
Yeah.
Another great set of communication skills by you.
No one reads the content schedules. That's fine.
I just show up.
Hunter Vaughn, mother-in-law
battle.
extraordinaire, is our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. Good morning, Hunter.
Good morning. I prefer husband of the year.
Husband of the year.
I think that's what the territory this puts me in. I'm just a better husband than everybody else that thinks this is weird.
First off, we all know Jason is the greatest husband of all time. Like, we all know that.
I'm coming for
I
that
thought he was
title.
father of the
he's
year. Yeah?
both.
Did he claim
Father
husband
of the year is a no-doubter.
Yeah.
But husband of the year, I think he has kind of put himself at that top tier. Hunter's making a push, though. Especially with relationships to your mother-in-law. He is top tier.
So not everyone listens to every show every day, especially those of us who are off on Monday. But I did listen.
I do
back
want to
to
give
the
a
full
shout out
podcast.
to our guy over at the Kennedy Little League Complex. He was doing the field. We had a game over there last night, and he came up and he was grinding away. It was hot out yesterday.
Yeah.
He had a couple 17-year-olds that are supposed to do the grounds crew. He didn't. He's an avid listener. And he gave us a bunch of attaboys, so I just want to give a shout-out to him. He did a great job getting the field ready, and we ended the game in a tie, which was kind of
What?
lame. Yeah, it is what it is.
No.
It's a league game, so it's not like it's a tournament. You have to have pool play. But, yeah, we ended in a tie. It's the second tie of the year because you have a certain amount of time and you play 7 innings. And
I don't like that.
I don't either.
You don't go to California
anyways,
rules, runner on second, one
now
out.
there's another game behind us, so there's limited fields in the Dane County area. So, anyways, big shout out to him. He was very pleasant to talk to and grinded away and got the field ready. So, tip of the cap.
Well, that's awesome. That's cool.
I think he was taking his mother-in-law out for dinner right after.
So
Good husband.
I don't know if I finished the introductions, but you all know who he is. That's Packers Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher. I am Jesse Nelson. I'm normally the producer of the show. I've had a few days off, and now I'm back in the host chair as Jason has today and tomorrow off. Hunter Vaughn, our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and that is where we stand. Okay, so at the end of yesterday's show, which I was listening to at 11 o'clock at night driving home from the Brewers game, which we will talk plenty about coming up. In the Whoa Nelly segment that Hunter Vaughn took over yesterday, the last thing you brought up was that you went to a movie over the weekend exclusively with your mother-in-law while your wife and a friend went out to dinner or lunch together.
I forgot to ask this because I asked if you guys shared popcorn.
Nope, that gives me tummy troubles.
Do you sit right next to each other, or do you give a seat buffer?
Yeah, because it was like F1 was a very popular movie this last
just
weekend. It was a
came
full
out.
theater. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was laughing out loud listening to this by myself on a drive home last night from about on 94 from Waukesha to Oconomowoc. I was laughing out loud to myself listening to that podcast with how funny that interaction was yesterday. I could hear when you first brought it up, Hunter. I could hear in the silence how Jason and Tausch were just smiling at each other.
Hunter does a great job. Again, I tell you all the time, the prep stuff that he has transformed video-wise and everything else has been dynamite. But the fact that I was actually irritated with you that you brought it up so late in the show.
Okay. I honestly...
You knew that we would love that.
No, I honestly
How
did
do you
not think it
know
was a
we
big...
wouldn't love that?
I didn't think it was a big deal. I thought this was such a normal
You didn't
thing.
think
No.
taking your mother... You didn't think taking your mother-in-law to on a date... While you're
Okay.
It was a date. No, it was, and it's nice. I'm not saying nothing inappropriate, but it was a date. The fact that your wife didn't want to go and went to lunch with somebody. If your wife was on a girls' trip to South Carolina or something else, and your mother-in-law calls and says, "Hunter, I'm bored. I know you like movies. Will you just take me to a movie?" I get it. That's not what happened here. Correct?
No. Okay, so my wife is an identical twin. Her twin sister had recently moved down to North Carolina. She was back up for the week for the holiday.
Okay.
She stayed with us. We all drove over to Racine to see the mother-in-law then and spend the 4th over there.
Gotcha.
They have a childhood friend then that lives on the north side of Chicago.
Okay.
So she was like, "You're right there." Like the three of them went to go and get lunch
Why
together.
didn't you guys all just go get lunch?
Because
Your tummy? Your tummy was terrible?
Clearly,
You didn't
tummy
want to do
troubles?
the tummy
No.
stuff?
Clearly, they had girl stuff they wanted to talk about at lunch, and they didn't want Hunter.
Well,
there.
no,
But
it's
we've
just-
all been there.
But the mom not. And this is where I'm just confused. And everybody's dynamic is different. Trust me, I know. But this is where I'll be like, wouldn't the mother-in-law want to go and hang out with the daughters and have lunch with them too? Get what I'm saying?
With the two of them being twins, that is a very, like you said, different dynamic. I try to
How different are they?
not very different.
Did she marry someone similar to you?
She is single. The other
Has
twin.
she when
they're
she's
looking
dated?
for another Hunter.
Has there been a Hunter?
hasn't
clone?
dated anybody since I've been dating I met her sister. So
All right.
wouldn't know.
Okay.
So
Twins are fascinating, by the way. It's a fascinating dilemma. Yeah, that whole thing is something else. All right, continue.
Oh yeah.
So I
No,
try
it
to
is.
respect their okay, they're gonna go and do stuff together. They're very close, so they have that childhood friend they don't see all the time. So I was just no, go to lunch,
Sure.
whatever.
Hey, good
And then-
husband. Yeah,
I'm
independence,
husband of the year.
absolutely. I don't
So then when they made those plans, then her mom was like, "Hey, I want to see this movie. I know Hunter likes movies. Does Hunter want to go with me to see the movie?" And I was like, "Yeah,
Makes
why not?
sense.
I don't care." Didn't think it would be weird. Didn't ever think it was awkward or weird at all until it got brought up on the show. And then suddenly there's
You
people
brought
on
it up
Twitter
so
saying it's weird.
nonchalantly. That
Yes.
was the beautiful part of it. And I don't even know what the hell you were talking about before that. It literally, you could have talked about world peace, and you could have solved all, and I still would have been completely distracted. Just wait. What did you say? So Jesse, there have been people that have responded on Twitter and on YouTube and all this stuff. Carbless talk and text. Would you ever take Becca's mother
So
for a nice date?
844-770-3776 is the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. Since this came up so late in the show yesterday, if you would like to weigh in, give us a text at 844-770-3776. I did see, Tausch, that you tweeted this from your account, retweeting the show.
Yeah.
Is it unique to go with your mother-in-law to watch a 3-hour movie? Well, I heard it was 2.5. While you're
And I guess they didn't do previews, which I don't know how Hunter
That's
has
weird.
special access to non-previewed movies.
part of the fun.
Kudos to Hunter.
Got lucky they were having technical issues.
I like seeing the previews. That's one of the fun things about going to the movies.
I
See what's
couldn't
coming up.
disagree. I couldn't disagree.
Had just seen Jurassic Park 2 days.
Was that any good?
No, it was garbage.
Oh, no, I might go see that tonight.
figured it would be.
No.
I thought it was the worst Jurassic Park movie that they've made.
No, that's so disappointing.
But other people are putting it as like the second best. So I
gonna
think
go
there's
see
a very wide.
I don't get, like, they ruined it with the second
Is
one of the new
Jurassic Park
trilogy.
worth getting? I've never watched an episode of Jurassic Park. Is it worth the whole thing, or is it
The
not?
So-
first one
Never
is
watched any of them.
the very first movie. I think is top 10 all-time movie for me.
Okay,
The
that's bold.
first one is iconic. You need to see the first one.
Yep.
All
the,
right.
the second one is still
Fine.
good. It gets a little crazy at the end, but it's good. The third one, I think, is fun. I like the third one.
And this is the third one that just came out?
No,
No,
so they
this is
did-
like the 8th.
Yeah.
Come on.
So they did.
Yeah.
They did.
Why
it-
are they just okay?
They did
again,
three that-
I always have to check myself when I ask why, because they're making.
There
money.
were 3 that were out by like 2005, I want to say, and then
All
they
right,
took
you know
about
what?
a
I've just
10-year
decided,
break.
even
and
with your guys' strong endorsement, I'm not going to watch Jurassic Park.
I'm-
All right,
I will
continue.
always go see the dinosaurs. They might be the worst set of movies ever. I'm always going to go.
I think
see
there's.
them.
I don't want to get all conspiratorial. If they're
But you
bringing
are.
back woolly mammoths, can they bring back dinosaurs? No, I'm being dead
I
serious.
tell you what, I'll go see the movie tonight, and I'll let you know.
You know, woolly mammoths are coming back. Like they're coming back.
Well, the
Are they?
issue
Yes.
is that our atmosphere and the planet itself is very different than when dinosaurs lived. So
We
like,
don't
I
know that for
if-
sure either. I don't think. We don't.
I mean, we kind of do, but okay.
So you don't think dinosaurs can come back?
I just don't think they could, like, long term,
Well, I'm not
they wouldn't be
asking
able to
long
handle
term.
the environment. Okay, so like you could have it alive for like an hour, and then it's not going to be able to
Could you
handle
have
it.
it alive for 20 years?
Okay.
I don't.
No,
Think,
I'm asking. I don't know.
I don't think the dinosaurs are coming back. I think we've got.
You maybe are right, but
We've
people
got
20
8
years
movies
ago would have
showing us
said
why it's a
there
bad
is no
idea."
way woolly mammoths are coming back, and we're not far off. So you guys would have been wrong
but they
about
never
that.
made
Oh, you
Woolly
can't do
Mammoth Park to show us
Yeah.
that was a bad idea.
I've never seen a movie
Yeah,
about
because
how the
these
woolly
movies
mammoth
all
coming
just
back would be
dictate it. All right.
dangerous.
I saw Ice Age.
I'm
That
going
was
to tell
pretty
you
good.
this. You guys could be 100% certain. I don't think you should be 100%. As the odds are, you guys are going to be right, yes. But does that mean it's 100%? No, it's not. It doesn't mean that.
I know, but like the 100%, my odds at 99.9% chance, I'm going to feel pretty good about being like, yeah, that's not happening.
Proof beyond reasonable doubt that bringing back the
I don't
dinosaurs would
think
be a
you
bad
guys
idea.
understand. I don't think you guys understand all the stuff and things that are moving. Like maybe
No,
you guys. I mean,
maybe
and
we
that's all right.
don't.
No, and by the way, I don't either. But I know that there's a
You
possibility.
guys don't get it, but I don't get it either. But I'm
But I
right.
get it less. I get it more than you guys do.
Can we get back to the mother-in-law
Go for it. Yeah.
responses?
I didn't bring up dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. You guys did.
Ryan on Twitter, unique, yes, but nothing wrong with it, in my opinion.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
Greg, it's not typical, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's actually kind of nice to
It's
have that
very
relationship.
sweet.
Yeah.
Very sweet.
Geriad on Twitter. I'm sure it depends on the movie. Kind of awkward, I think, if it was Titanic or 50 Shades or something like that.
I would have said
if
no.
it's
but-
50 Shades, no, it is not sort of. That's freaky That is just
Oh,
ridiculous.
yes. That's 100% no.
Okay, fair enough. I'm glad we could agree on something today.
But I guess if she covers the tickets and he gets dinner, hey, you do you.
Okay.
I'm in the definitely unique majority camp, says Geriad. So here,
Would Jesse
it-
is the question.
so
I
yes.
feel fairly confident Becca would not take George to a movie.
Becca doesn't like going to the movies. So taking that with a grain of salt, like she is not a moviegoer. Like I
Would
intentionally
she
might
go just
tonight.
to a Brewer game with George?
She also does not like going to Brewers games. There's a lot of things I like doing that she doesn't like doing that I like to go do by myself, like going to the Brewers game last night and going to a movie tonight. I'm living a bachelor life for the next 3 nights here while she's still up north for the week.
Okay.
There are things that she would certainly do with my father or with my mother, her father-in-law, mother-in-law, that I'm guessing some others wouldn't do.
Like what?
I don't know, like just going out to is dinner
No, dinner
normal?
is not weird. Dinner is not.
I don't
that's-
know.
You're grabbing something to eat.
I would say this. So we were up north over the weekend.
Meat raffle.
We did not go to the meat raffle. It was too nice to go
Okay,
to
I
the
think
meat
I'm
raffle.
done. Now, whenever I think I'm done. You don't even do meat raffles
I think
anymore.
we've kind of, it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's over for
bar ownership has changed down the road
Oh,
from
so
us
the
a couple
raffle's
of
not as
times.
good.
And the raffle, it's not the same experience it once was. So We've
Do
kind of
you
moved
still
on
buy
this month.
tickets and they give away meat?
Yes, that
Okay,
still
it
happens.
seems like that's
but
what a
it's
meat
just
raffle is.
we've prioritized other things. We like being out in the sunshine, out in the lake.
Okay,
And,
all right.
Yeah, we've grown up a little bit. Maybe we'll get back to the meat raffles at some point, especially in the winter. Those are popular. But over the weekend, so we were out on Sunday. It was kind of a cooler day up north. And so we went over to an establishment that had some delightful summer Hummers. They had like all variety colors. So you get the purple or the green or the blue. That was really
Why
delicious.
did your eyes just glisten when you said summer Hummers? That
we-
was really... Don't make eye contact with me when you do that.
We had a
Look
big...
into the camera. I don't need you giving me a, it was summer.
We had...
like all glitter-eyed. I'm not interested.
We had a big Sunday. We had a big Sunday fun day at the dockside. And we
Did you have any glizzies?
We did not, no. All I wanted was...
Disappointing.
I told a bunch of 14-year-old boys last night. I told them about this, and they all thought I was an idiot for not knowing what a glizzy was.
Yeah, you should have known what that
you
was.
should know.
I guess
Like,
I
I'm the oldest 33-year-old, and I know what a glizzy
I
is.
didn't even know you. Okay.
So point being, we had a big afternoon at the whatever the place was we were at with all the summer Hummers, and so we got back to the house, and Becca and her friends kind of wanted to
Double down on summer. Hummers.
Yeah, I don't know why you
It's a popular drink. It's the lemonade and the different flavored vodkas, all the different colors. It's good. It's a good summer drink. So we got back. Becca and her friends wanted to take it easy. Mo wanted to go for a walk. My mother-in-law and I went for a walk around the block, just the two of us, and it was nice. We went for a walk, walked the dog. We were
That's
talking
not
a
sitting
little
for
bit.
a 3-hour movie.
No, it's not sitting for a 3-hour movie. It was about a 30-minute walk around the block, but it was nice, and that was something we had never done before.
Okay,
So when
cute.
I heard this story yesterday, that was what first came out. Oh, I just had...
So you're in Hunter's camp. You have no problem doing that.
I do not have a problem with what Hunter did. No,
I don't think anybody has a problem. I just think it's unique. That's all.
I do think it is unique. It is... If I was prioritizing... So here's my thing about going to the movies. Unless you're going to like Tier 1 Tyler and a big group of friends made a tradition every time the Marvel movies came out for like a decade, they would go on opening night and they would get like 10 tickets, all their college friends. And even though they had, moved on and graduated, they all got together and went to every opening night of the Marvel movies. That's a cool experience. Otherwise, going to the movies is kind of a solo experience. Like, I have no problem going to a movie by myself, like Jurassic World, maybe tonight, because you're not talking with anybody once the movie starts. In fact, I like not being distracted once the movie starts. I might say I prefer going to the movie by myself because you don't have to worry about passing the popcorn around or people like making comments to you while you're watching it. Like I like being there just in the moment. So I don't mind that. So going to the movie, no matter who you're with.
I'm nervous I'm going to say something really inappropriate. So I'm going to bite my lip on this one.
Oh, just say it.
No, I don't think it's appropriate. I was going to say, you know who else liked going to movies by themselves? An old actor of a children's TV show.
Oh,
I'm not going to go there.
Tausch.
I'm not going there.
Come on.
I am not going to go there. The old Playhouse. Going to a movie. I have no interest in going to a movie by myself ever.
No,
Even though I agree with your premise of you're not sitting there jabbering, I just don't have any interest in it.
It's an awful date, which is why I don't think it's weird that Hunter and his mother-in-law
great
went to the
date.
movie by themselves.
You
go in, you get the popcorn, you sit down, you're talking maybe during the previews, which they didn't even have when they
true.
went. The movie starts. You're not saying anything to the other person for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. You get up, you talk about the movie. By the time you get back, it's a very almost transactional interaction for much of it. So I have no problem with that. Going to the movies, I don't think is necessarily a great bonding activity. It's something that you do if you're going to enjoy the movie.
So
but
actually,
it's not
Hunter's getting too much credit for being great with his mother-in-law by taking her to a movie.
I think we're overinflating
We've
the
given Hunter
relationship
too
a
much
bit.
credit.
I don't think this makes him husband of the year.
That's
because
an interesting deal.
I think going to dinner, you have much more conversation that's ensuing.
Well,
you go
no
play a round
blank.
of golf, and you're going to talk a lot
No
more
blank,
while you're
yes.
sharing a cart or whatever.
Bowling.
Yeah, bowling, walking the dog.
Sure, dog walking,
a lot
yeah.
of other things that are more
So
significant.
Hunter, you don't get any credit. It's not even a big deal, and you don't get any credit.
okay. I'm
There you
fine
go.
with that. This was not attention that I wanted. There's a lot of times where I'm totally fine with a lot of attention. This was not one of those
Like what?
times. I mean, most of the other content stuff. I didn't think me going to a movie with my mother-in-law was going to be like a big deal.
Yeah. Okay. On the Carbless Talk and text line, 844-770-3776. Josh in Lake Geneva. I would absolutely see a movie with my mother-in-law. She's one of my favorite people. Earlier this year, we sat courtside at the Illinois-UCLA game in Champaign.
That's fantastic.
That's awesome. That's great that people have that relationship.
No doubt about it.
Keep them coming. 844-770-3776. Mother-in-law Central here on Wilde and Tausch. And whether you're recommending it to your significant other, to her friend that she's at lunch with, or to your mother-in-law at the movies, we're always recommending Pella Windows and Doors.
We're just talking about resiliency. For windows with the strongest resilience, you need the Pella Experience. The Pella Experience Center lets you see it, feel it, open, close, and compare dozens of windows and doors and their options from 7 different Pella lines, and you all can see it side by side. Stop by soon, because if you order by July 31st, you can get 0% interest for up to 5 years. Certain restrictions do apply. Visit the Pella Experience Center in Brookfield, or schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com. And let me tell you all something. We're going to be down there Thursday, correct, Jesse?
This Thursday, July 10th. You and Wilde and I are all going.
Every show. You're going to see hosts from WTMJ, ESPN, The Truth, all down at the Pella showroom. And if you schedule your in-home consultation, you're going to get a chance to win amazing prizes. Jesse we'll talk next about the Brewers game he went to last night. Brewers tickets and giveaways from the season. There is a game-worn jersey, Badgers College game day tailgate, State Fair, Green Bay tickets, and more. Winners are going to be chosen every 2 hours, so don't miss your chance to win $2,000 off your minimum purchase of $5,000 if you can book your appointment before July 31st. Again, head on down to the showroom in Brookfield, and if you can't make that, make sure you book at PellaWI.com on the 10th, and you can be entered in to win those raffles. So July 10th, big day at Pella. Come on down to Brookfield. Check out all of our shows. Will be down there, and all of those great prizes and opportunities to win free things. And all you got to do is show up or get in on PellaWI.com.
This is going to be a big one. We encourage you to stop out on Thursday, just like those of you who joined us at the Hard Rock Casino for a couple of shows in May and June, just like many of you who have come out and seen us when we're at some of the golf outings that we're at. Like, this is a big one on Thursday. Come on out and see us. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, the Brookfield Experience Center. That is where you want to be, and a chance to win some really great prizes, like Tausch just said. Your texts, your calls, your tweets, your responses to the mother-in-law conversation. Plus, coming up, does Pat Murphy know what I said about him? We'll find out. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Attention business owners and executives. Looking for a bank that's invested in your community as you are? Look no further than Starion Bank. As a Dane County community bank, Starion offers competitive deposit and loan rates while actively supporting local initiatives. Visit a business banker at one of our convenient branches in Middleton, Monona, and Sun Prairie. Starion Bank, full-service business banking, lending, and cash management.
Bringing summer gatherings to the next level is just another thing we do at Celebrations Entertainment. Hi, it's Jeffrey. With rental items like sound equipment, photo booths, and even yard games, you can make your event the party that everyone talks about. Any event like graduation parties, block parties, or even a backyard barbecue can be elevated with fun, interactive items to make everyone ask, hey, how'd you pull this off? Just tell them celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Free Food Friday on ESPN Madison is brought to you by Vintage Brewing Company. Whether you're looking to get carry-out, delivery, or dine in, Vintage Brewing has lots of great options on their menu. Vintage Brewing Company prides themselves on being a great place to hang out and enjoy classic Midwestern hospitality. Vintage Brewing Company has multiple award-winning beers, so be sure to try one the next time you're in. Head to VintageBrewingCompany.com to make a reservation today. That's VintageBrewingCompany.com.
If you're looking for a special piece of jewelry for any occasion, Condon Jewelers is always there for you. Condon Jewelers has the best selection of jewelry you'll ever find and guaranteed to have the lowest prices in the Madison area. Free shipping is always available. Visit CondonJeweler.com or call 241-3406 and ask for Jim, the owner, who's at the store every day. Shop locally. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
Breaking news on ESPN Madison is presented by Metro Ford and Metro Kia of Madison. Find the Metro family of auto dealers online or see them in person on the east side of Madison today.
Listen to Madison Money Guy every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN and ESPNWisconsin.com.
I like to refer to inflation as the silent killer. It's an invisible risk. It's just the idea that things get more expensive over time. You're going to need milk and eggs when you're in your early 60s and when you're in your early 80s. You're going to get a loaf of bread, and it's going to be more expensive 20 years from now.
Christian Finfrock is the Madison Money Guy. Call him today at 208-1800.
All day, every day, the Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
Play where the Badgers play and enjoy a round at University Ridge Golf Course, the official course of the University of Wisconsin. It's easy to see why University Ridge is consistently rated one of the best public courses in Wisconsin, winning awards every year since 1992. Whether it's a tournament, corporate event, or just a golf outing with family and friends, University Ridge Golf Course will make sure you have an enjoyable golf experience from start to finish. Book your tee time today at universityridge.com. That's universityridge.com.
We're on the Brewers.
Jacob Mizorowski gives shades of Randy Johnson. He has the stuff to challenge Pirates phenom Paul Skeens as the most dominant pitcher in the National League.
Nobody covers the crew like 100.5 ESPN, Madison's home of the Brewers.
Dancing on the edge, about to take it too far. Messing with my head, how I'm missing your eye. If you wake up in your bed, alone in the dark, I'm sorry. Gotta leave before you love me. Leave before you love me.
Wilde and Tausch, Jesse and Tausch. Jason on assignment today and tomorrow. He'll be back on Thursday when we're all together at the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin Experience Center in Brookfield. 844-770-3776, the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. Hunter Vaughn is our cousin sub of the day, producing today. Cousin subs, we believe in better. And we are picking up where yesterday's show left off. Hunter went to a movie over the weekend with his mother-in-law, just the two of them. Is that strange? 844-770-3776. Unique. Unique is how you wanted to ask that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good way to ask that.
Yeah,
I do think it's unique. I don't think it's strange.
Okay.
Let's go to the phones. Andy in Green Bay is first up. Wilde and Tausch. Welcome, Andy. Is it strange? Nope. Unique for Hunter to go with his mother-in-law to the movie.
No, I did the same thing.
All right. Tell us about it.
So, my wife, she lived in Chesaning, Michigan, and she was getting together with her girlfriend. So I went, I was in town, and her mom goes, "You want to go to the movies?" I even went flower shopping, out to dinner with her, and then we went to the movies.
That's bold.
Wow.
Baby. That is... You just passed Hunter, and you passed Hunter for husband of the year.
Yeah.
Oh, and we shared a thing of popcorn.
Oh, you did? So you passed the popcorn back and forth? Yeah? Okay.
Yep.
Well,
we did leave a seat in between us, though.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's good.
Not
good
as
for
busy
space.
as F1.
Yep.
Okay.
May I ask what movie you saw?
It was a Disney movie.
Okay.
This is I'm going back like 7 years ago. I can't remember what we saw.
Was it animated or live action? Do you recall?
It was animated.
Okay. So it could
It
have been
was
like
a cartoon.
one of those Pixar movies or something like
Inside
that.
Out, maybe.
Yeah, one of those. And those are family movies. That's a good one to go to. That's totally
It
fine.
sounds like Eric. It's just a really nice day for Eric.
Sounds like a great day. Andy, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. 844-770-3776. So Andy agrees.
Andy's on it. Yep.
Not unique to go to the movie with your mother-in-law.
Well, let me tell you something. Just because Andy called and said what he just said, that doesn't make it's not unique. Like what Andy did is above and beyond. Like that's big time. That's somebody that is all in, and that's great.
I have a question about the order of events there, if that's the order in which it happened. You don't go flower shopping first, because then you'd have to like leave the flowers out in the car when you go to dinner and then go into the movie. You would want to go flower shopping last or go drop them off at home before that.
I would agree.
844-770-3776. Joe and the Boonies on the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. The movie is a big decider here, so if it's a movie that isn't controversial, it's as simple as asking your wife or anyone else. I don't know
I would disagree with that.
What's a controversial movie? Does that go back to the Titanic,
is
50
it-
Shades
okay,
comments?
let's say-
Unfaithful, yeah.
Let's say, I mean, would it be the same thing if let's just say, Hunter, your wife's twin, didn't want to go to lunch and said, Hunter, let's go to the movie and do that. Is that the same?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. So if Andy is I guess, you know what? It just comes down to going out and having a good time. That's what this comes back to.
I forgot about this, but a couple of years ago, the new Batman movie came out. I know you guys were big Batman conversation yesterday.
Superman was
Superman,
the
all the superheroes came out. All the super. So a few years ago, that the new one came out, and Becca, again, doesn't like going to the movies, had no interest in going. She'll go like once a year is her movie quota. I'd go, 5 or 6 times a year if it was up to me. So her friends really wanted to go see the movie. So they said, do you guys want to go see this? Becca said, no, I have no interest in go sitting through a 3-hour Batman movie. I said, absolutely, sign me up for that. Her friends wanted to go. The 3 of us went. So it was me and Heather and Karina. We all went to go see the Batman movie together. And Becca stayed home, and I don't know if she took care of the dog or whatever she was up to. I forgot if we even had the dog at the time, but she didn't come to the movie with us. She stayed home, and the rest of us went to the movie. We had a wonderful time. Again, there's minimal interaction by the time the movie starts. So you meet at the theater, you walk in together, you spend 15 minutes talking, you comment on the previews, the movie starts, maybe you're passing popcorn. I think we all had our individual snacks and beverages. I had a Coors Light, no doubt.
Okay.
And you just sit there and you take in the movie, and that's it. You talk about it a little bit afterward, you go home. Nothing to it.
Perfect. Sounds like you got it all figured out.
770-3776.
I really don't understand the people that are like surprised by it or fascinated. Like it's weird to me that like what is so wrong or so unique with the idea of like, oh, this is my wife's mother. I'm going to try and like have a good relationship with that person.
There's good relationship, and then there's there's a level to everything.
Yeah, I think
they can become your best friend. That's awesome for you. I think it's just a very unique thing, because when you look at in the grand scheme of things, I would say most people have good relationships with their mother-in-law. Some don't. But to go to the next level where it's even a notch at the same level as your wife or immediate, I think that is unique. I do. That doesn't mean I'm right, but I think there's levels to everything, and doing that is a level above. And kudos to you, Hunter, for doing it. I enjoy my mother-in-law. I go to church with my mother-in-law. I play Scrabble. I don't think either of us are going to be that excited to go sit through a 3-hour. I don't. That's just where I'm at.
And I don't think this just applies to family dynamic. I think you can think about your coworkers. Like, we have a great team dynamic here. A lot of us hang out outside of work hours. That's not the case for many people. A lot of people, they will go to work, they see their coworkers there, and then when they go home, they don't interact with them anymore. Like, they wouldn't go to the movies with Howie across the office. Or in other cases, like, I don't know, when you were on the Packers, Tausch, there were probably teammates that you would ask if they wanted to go on trips or hang out outside of practice time. And there's other teammates, I would guess, maybe you didn't have that same relationship with, that you wouldn't want to do that. I certainly did on teams that I was on. Like, there were the group that you really, got to know,
so like
really
a bowler
enjoyed.
that didn't hit the 7-10 split, you'd be like, we're not going.
Yeah, there were certain ones that's like, I'm not hanging out with that guy after practice.
Yeah,
but this
you know
guy,
what,
sure,
Hunter,
let's go to,
maybe I was completely misread this situation, and it's just completely normal and should be more normal. You might be right.
I think it should be more normal.
Okay.
We'll put a bow on it with this. Mike and Madison. Hunter, I'd rather hang out or grab a beer with my mother-in-law than my own mom, so you're good, buddy.
Yeah.
Mike? Sorry, buddy. Hopefully you grab a Coors Light with both of your mom and your mother-in-law.
Yeah,
at
whether
some
you're
point.
going to the movie with your mother-in-law, you're tailgating pregame, enjoying your experience during the game, or celebrating a big Brewers win like Jesse did after the game. You just need a moment to chill. Crack open a Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light. It's brewed with that 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filtered, and it's cold packaged because it is made to chill over the hot 4th of July weekend. I know I had plenty of Coors Lights at cookouts and pool parties, etc., etc. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Big night at American Family Field last night. The Brewers got a big win, and I was in the clubhouse, and I interacted with Pat Murphy after the game. What happened, and does he know what Tausch says I said about him? We're going to find out. You be the judge. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
It's always a beautiful experience coming out to the ballpark. Many fans prep in the parking lot amongst our legendary tailgaters. When you're ready for new windows and doors, prep for those at the Pella Experience Center in Brookfield. See, feel, open, close, and compare dozens of window and door options from different Pella lines side by side. And if you order by July 31st, get 0% interest for up to 5 years on Blue Mountain Road, or visit PellaWI.com today.
Celebrate the 4th with family, friends, and unbeatable appliance deals at Brothers Maine. Our fireworks of savings on top brands like Whirlpool, plus next day delivery, will make you ooh and ah. Visit us today and feel like family at Brothers Maine.
Panic strikes as you realize on Wednesday that Thursday is your anniversary. The reservations being secured.
We'll see you at 8.
The gift being purchased. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with early pay up to 2 days early on direct deposits. So even though they call you Last Minute Lisa, we'll make your last minute scrambling a bit easier. You've got this with early pay from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Gear up for Quick Trip's Mountain Dew Quick Climb. Now through August 17th. Play free daily in the Quick Rewards app and earn bonus plays with every eligible purchase. Grab one with hot food. That's 2 bonus plays. Each week, the cash prize climbs by $5,000, all the way to a $250,000 grand prize. So open the app and get climbing. Your summer, your climb, your win. No purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents residing in Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, Michigan, South Dakota, North Dakota, or Wisconsin. Ends August 17th. Bonus plays require qualifying purchase. See full rules at quicktrip.com/sweepstakes.
What's in your summer survival kit? Mark Tauscher here, and I'll tell you what should be. A cooler full of drinks, a comfy lawn chair, and for just $12.99, a large Hut Lovers pizza from Pizza Hut. For a limited time, choose from 4 loaded legends, meat lovers, pepperoni lovers, veggie lovers, and the spicy Hawaiian for just $12.99. Hot, melty, and made to crush hunger. A perfect summer go-to order. Order up before it's gone on the Pizza Hut app. And remember, nobody out-pizzas the Hut. Additional charge for extra toppings, pan, stuffed crust, and extra cheese.
We ask and you answer. Tune in to Jim, Matt, and Molly every weekday 4 to 6 and follow at Jim, Matt, Molly on X to vote in daily poll questions presented by Siding Unlimited. Trust Siding Unlimited with your next window and door project.
This fall, there's only one place to be, Camp Randall Stadium. Wisconsin football returns with can't-miss matchups, including Maryland, Iowa, Washington, and more. From the first touchdown to jump around and the celebration of the 5th quarter. Experience the traditions and unforgettable memories that make Wisconsin football so special. Single game tickets are now on sale. Lock in your spot today by visiting uwbadgers.com or call 1-800-GO-BADGERS. Wisconsin football game day starts here. We'll see you at Camp Randall.
Metro Ford of Madison is Madison's trusted Ford dealership. Whether you're in the market for a new or new-to-you vehicle, Metro Ford of Madison has the customer service that's second to none. With a legacy of excellence and an extensive selection of quality Ford vehicles, it's the place to go for the new Ford of your dreams. Browse their inventory, schedule a service, or see this month's offers at MetroFordofMadison.com. That's MetroFordofMadison.com. Or visit them on the east side of Madison today.
Ever thought about hitting a golf ball in Camp Randall Stadium? Well, now is your chance. On August 1st and 2nd, you can enjoy a VIP experience while hitting tee shots from the upper deck throughout the stadium down to custom greens on the field below. Start and end your round with great music, cold beers, food, and numerous golf challenges. Event is open to all ages, but hurry because tee times will go fast. Go to upperdeckgolf.com to book a tee time today. That's upperdeckgolf.com.
We're on the Bucks.
Dame Lillard, by all accounts, is a good dude. He's a good teammate.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
He's obviously one of the top 75 players of all time, but it didn't work in Milwaukee.
100.5 ESPN, Madison's home of the Bucks.
It's a beautiful day.
Have you heard dumber things than that in recent memory, Jeff?
Sure, but I live with two teenage boys, so like dumb rhetoric is kind of like part of my life these days. In terms of bad baseball takes, yeah, it's up there.
Man, I'm bummed I missed Jeff Passan yesterday on Wilde and Tausch.
I think he was kind of bummed he didn't get to catch you, too.
Oh, I texted him last night.
He sounded disappointed
He
when
was.
I
Yeah,
called.
yeah.
Surprised you booked him on a day. Like, you don't book guests.
Well.
And you booked a guest, and you did it on a day you weren't even going to be here.
You're welcome.
I said thank you. Jeff Passan was great. If you haven't been able to catch up, he said some things, a couple things that have gotten a lot of reaction on social media about the Brewers, about the Miz, and about Jesse. He was fantastic, as he always is when he joins.
He was really good. I did listen to the full podcast on the ESPN Wisconsin app on my drive yesterday. Totally worth the listen, like Tausch said. Download the ESPN Wisconsin app and give that a listen. Plus all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin shows all right there. So, Jeff Passan joined us yesterday. I attended the Brewers game last night as a working media member, which I realized. So driving home from up north yesterday, again, Becca stayed up north with her friends for the whole week. I came back for a few days before going back up at the end of the week. It's kind of what we always do around the 4th of July. And I left a little earlier than I expected yesterday, so I ended up having the opportunity to go to last night's Brewers game. 2 all-stars on the mound, Freddie Peralta, Yamamoto. I didn't remember how to say Yamamoto's full name because he got bounced after 2/3 of an inning, so I didn't even get a chance to because he didn't stay in the game long enough. So, awesome night. Brewers win, big win, set the tone for this big series with the Dodgers. Andrew Vaughn, no relation, I assume, to Hunter, but I don't know for sure.
No relation.
Okay. Homers in his first at-bat as a Milwaukee Brewer with Rhys Hoskins going on the injured list. Big moment in the first inning. Brewers bat around right away in the first. Fantastic night. I realized as I was sitting at AmFam Field last night, it had been since Ron Renicky was the manager of the Brewers, since I had covered a Brewers game as a working media member.
I think we're probably using the word working a little strong.
Yeah.
Because did you have a notepad? Did you do any actual note-taking? Or were you just watching the game with a beer?
So I sent a couple of tweets. I did not have any alcoholic beverages.
Okay.
I had no Coors Lights. I did have a couple of beverages, but they were of the carbonated variety available for us for free. I did watch the entire game. One of the things that I wanted to see, I had never seen Shohei Ohtani live in person. So I wanted to walk around the ballpark.
I was told you can't win once Shohei got to the and so far, so
far, I've been right on that, just for the record. So one of the things that stood out to me, when Shohei Ohtani came up to bat to lead off the game, there were a bunch of fans who were bolting to their seats. And I wasn't sure if that was just because it was first pitch and people like being in their seats for first pitch. So around the 6th inning, he was leading off, and I got up and I walked around the park a little bit. And I wanted to see what the vibe around the
because you're a working media member.
Exactly.
You wanted to take what the crowd was doing and give it to your fans.
My observation was fans want to see Shohei Ohtani. When he is batting, it reminded me, and this, I don't want to
Boy, this is
speaking
this
of
is
bad
some
baseball
really,
takes,
this is
I
some really-
understand.
This is some
what-
really breaking news. People want to watch Shohei.
It reminded me of when Barry Bonds came to town when I was a kid. That's what it reminded me of, where no matter where you were in the park, you're in line for concessions, you're looking in the fan shop, people will leave what they're doing to go back to their seats or stand above the railing to watch that at-bat and then go back in line. That's what it looked like yesterday at AmFam Field. And I would guess tonight, with the Miz on the mound when Shohei leads off the game, that is going to be, like, people are going to want to be in their seats for the 2 or 3 at-bats where you get Shohei versus the Miz. Same thing, Kershaw against Jackson Chourio. I'm sure people are going to want to do the same thing.
Let's not put Jackson Chourio and Kershaw in the same.
No, Shohei Ohtani is the show
All
right
right
now in Major League Baseball. People want to be in their seats or at least standing, watching every pitch when he is up to bat. That was the observation I had last
It's a good
night.
observation.
So I enjoyed the game. And then after the game, we go down to the clubhouse. And the way that this works, and has, since when I was at games more regularly a decade ago, you first go in where the manager has his post-game media availability, and it's kind of in that like press conference setting, the way that Jason does it with Matt LaFleur. And then afterwards, you go into the clubhouse, and you get a couple of chances to talk to some of the standout players from the game. You had given me the task of trying to get an exclusive with Christian Yelich or The Miz.
Or Shohei.
They were not available.
Okay.
So I failed. Also, all the beat writers that cover the team are like 7 feet tall. Really did not bode well for me trying to get into a media scrum. I'm standing like behind people.
How many people? Was there more media folks there because of the Dodgers?
I think so. I don't know. Again, this was my first one I was at this year, but there were a lot of people there, and they're all 6'5" or higher. And I'm standing by people like I'm standing behind a tree.
I was an intern at ESPN Milwaukee in 2018 and went to 2 games to do the same thing. I did a Braves game and then a Dodgers game.
Yeah.
And granted, they didn't have Ohtani at the time, but there was far more media at that Dodgers game.
The Dodgers are the new Yankees.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to cover the Dodgers. That's the team to beat. They're the big villain in baseball. They're the new Yankees. So yeah, I think it was a few more eyes on it.
Okay.
Also, it's the time of year where the Packers aren't in action, the Badgers aren't doing it. So this is the big game in town. So here's what's different about the last time I was there. When you walk into Pat Murphy's press conference, so everybody goes in, everybody kind of takes their seats, gets situated before the manager walks in. So Pat Murphy comes in, and he's got the grandkids that always go sit up there with him. If you've seen any of his press conferences, he does this all the time, and it's cute. Like, all the kids come in, and he'll say a couple of baseball things, and then he'll like ask them, like, do you guys remember what that lesson is? And it's really cool. But here's the new custom that apparently has changed since the days of Ron Renneke managing the Brewers. I don't know if Craig Counsell did this. I'm assuming not.
Counsell did not.
Pat Murphy, if he doesn't recognize you as a regular, wants to meet you. So before the press conference officially gets started with questions from Adam McCalvey and Sophia Minard and everybody, the newbies, interns, radio producers who aren't there on a regular basis and whatnot, he asks you to introduce himself. Have I met you before? And so he went around the room, and I did not know that was coming. I was there. I had no heads up that was coming.
Did you get a little nervous?
And the second he did it for the first person sitting in the front row, I was like, oh, no, this is going to happen. So he went to the first person in the front row. He went to one of the people in the back, and then he got over to me. And I hit record in time to catch this. It's not the best audio. Again, this wasn't like the official press conference yet, so this isn't great audio, but I did the best I could with it. Ladies and gentlemen, do you think Pat Murphy knows who I am? Here's the interaction.
How about you?
Jesse Nelson from ESPN Wisconsin.
We've met before, Jesse.
Mm-hmm. I've called you before for the Wilde and Tausch show. I produce it in the mornings from 9 to noon.
We've never met.
Not in person.
I felt like I've heard your name.
Well, sorry to hear that.
You guys in the back, do I know all you?
And then he goes on to the next one. So, do you think he knows who I am?
Yes.
That's terrifying. You think so too?
Absolutely. He doesn't say that unless he
did he say anything?
He didn't know what it was, but I think it's a moment where that night he's laying in bed and it clicks. That he's like, that's the guy that was talking about how I should be fired. Yep.
Yeah.
So first of all,
did he do that with any of the other newbies? Was there any other reaction after they said their name?
There was one person, I think it was Lori Nickel from the Journal Sentinel, I believe, who he said, like, I forget if I'm familiar with you
Well,
or
Lori's down there all the time.
And that's what he said. Are you just wearing your hair differently today, or so maybe she's not there all the time? I don't know.
Okay.
Again, this was my first game
Sure,
there, so
sure,
I don't
sure,
know
sure.
what's normal down there these days. But no, everyone else, he just kind of, he kind of gave a little. There was one guy from a like podcast site, and he said, "Is that a real outlet? That doesn't sound really kind of." So he gives a little grief back and forth. Like, he's having fun. He's a very
had a big
welcoming
win against
guy.
the Dodgers. He should be having
he's
fun.
feeling. He's got all the grandkids
They
up
don't
there.
have
They
people
just
calling
crushed
for his
the
job
Dodgers. Team's been hot. I'm sure he's having a good time. I didn't think anything of it when he said it. And usually my go-to line when people say, "Oh, I listen to you all the time. I hear you all," I always say, "Well, I'm sorry to hear that," because I like being a little self-deprecating.
Self-deprecation's fun.
But I realized afterwards, listening to this, he might have got wind of what you say that I said about him, which is, again,
I was there. You
inaccurate
said it,
depiction.
Jesse.
No, that's not what I said.
What do you mean what I said?
What you said I said is different
took
than what
you
I
said.
actually said. I never said I wanted Pat Murphy fired. Never, ever, ever.
No, but you said we should have a conversation about it.
I said, at what point do we have a conversation? This was when they were in fourth place, multiple games under 500, and things were looking bleak in early May. Obviously, things have turned around. Team looks great, looking like a playoff team, feeling good about a chance to win a division title again this year, feeling great about where things are at. Obviously, no conversation necessary about Pat Murphy's
I
job
thought we were
status.
supposed to start having a conversation.
No, there is no need to have that conversation at all. That was one.
Did you ask Pat Murphy a question?
I had one ready.
No, that's not what I asked.
No, I didn't.
Why would you not ask a question? There's
Because
not that many reporters
I'm a
down
little rusty at this. So I'm not Wilde. I'm not there at every press conference all the time. I might start
You
going
love
to some more.
attention more than anyone in this studio.
I do.
You love attention. You're constantly searching out, how can I be more attention grabbing? Like, that's what you do.
So the question that
now you get in a big space with a manager of a professional baseball team that probably knows that you called for his job, and you sit there on your hands?
So here's
Coward.
I'm not a coward.
This is cowardly.
I just was rusty. And here's why. There's an art to this. Jason tells us there's an art to this all the time about timing up your question and knowing when to ask the question. The question I wanted to ask Pat Murphy was, what do you say to your team after a win like this? Because...
yeah, not a good question.
What a great question.
Good
Pat,
for
tell us how
lucky
great
for you
are.
guys, I didn't ask it. But I'm curious. Beating the Dodgers is not a small task. They're the best team in the National League, or one of. They're recognized as the big villain of
Pat,
baseball.
that was a great win, huh?
They chased Yamamoto for the shortest outing of his career. He's an all-star. That's an awesome win last night. What do you say to your team when you win a game like that? Like, that's
and
really
then
cool.
Pat would say, "Good job,
And that's
fellas.
kind of a,
now
and,
let's do it
and
again
that would
tomorrow."
have, even if that's all he said, that would have been a fun interaction. Big picture question, which usually comes at the end. A lot of the beat writers and the people who cover the team every day, they're first asking the questions specifically about the game. So
Now, they should get credence. They should ask questions.
yeah, so they're
first.
leading off, and I'm making sure, okay, let's first ask about Freddie Peralta's start. Let's ask about Andrew Vaughn hitting a home run in his first at-bat. Yelich hit another dinger. That was pretty sweet. Like, outing from the bullpen was pretty solid. Saving some arms for these next two games. Like, all that stuff. Like, individual, like, single-game stuff. So I was waiting to time up my question until the very end, and suddenly we were done after 4 minutes. Usually these things go like 8-9 minutes. And even Pat Murphy said, "That's it. That's all you guys got."
Why would you?
Because
what do you mean you had no?
Everybody was
He
like
asked,
standing
that's
up
it.
and getting ready to leave.
Jump up and ask something.
I didn't know. Again, I'm the new guy, so I can't take over this thing.
Hunter.
I'm not this big,
Cowardly.
self-serving.
Yeah.
This is cowardly.
Yeah.
Maybe it was cowardly, but at least it wasn't self-serving.
This is where media folks get a bad rap, because you'll sit and have all these takes in your little cocoon of a press box here, whatever we want to call it, producer studio.
Control
You'll
room.
do that. But when you get out in the wild, when you actually have an opportunity to ask a pertinent question or get a reaction, you shell up like a turtle hoping nobody sees you. That's disappointing.
This will not be the last time I go to a game as a media member at American
Will you
Family
have to
Field
introduce
this
yourself
year.
again next time
I'm
you go?
guessing I will have to, yes.
And will you ask a question the next time you go?
Absolutely. Now that I'm not the new
relate
guy,
to the
I'll-
fact that you brought up the question of should Pat Murphy be fired?
No, there's a time and place for that. I was also thinking, okay, if they win a game 9-1, I'm not going to go that route with it. Like, they won the game 9-1. You got to have something positive when they win a game 9-1.
Okay.
So there's an art to this stuff. Jason has taught us well about how you go about these
Clearly
kinds
not well
of things.
enough.
And I mistimed it. So I did not get an exclusive with the guys you wanted me to. I did not ask
I
Pat
didn't
Murphy
expect
a
you to
question.
get any exclusives.
So
I thought you'd ask Pat Murphy a question since you were sitting in the press room and there was only, how many people were in the room? 10?
15 or so, I'd say. A little more than usual.
Turtle.
I should have asked a question.
Turtle.
I wanted to ask a question. I am sorry that I did not. I will do better next time.
See, and I want to feel bad for you, Jesse. After that Dodgers game that I got to cover in 2018, the Brewers got
that Dodgers game in 2018.
So the Brewers got just shelled in that game. It was like a 15-5 win for LA. And I was all set to ask a question about the starting pitchers giving up runs early and one of the regular beat writers made Counsell mad. So he just ended it short. And I'm like, I'm an intern. I am not going to ask a question.
Can't do that. Yep.
I'm going to turtle
Gotta
up
know
in
your
this
place.
moment. Yep.
Gotta know your place in the scrum, Tausch. Know your place in
All
the
right,
scrum.
good. You guys do your thing, man.
So generally, I did not get a lot of anything for the show.
Doesn't
from
sound like it. I
last
was
night.
thinking there'd be some audio with you and asking a question to Pat and maybe even bringing up Jeff Passan thinks that you guys need a bigger bat. As we heard on Wilde and Tausch, that's been great.
I did
What do you
have
make of that?
yeah.
And he could have gotten into how great the replacement is for Hoskins, and you could have you could have led that way and let him talk positively about his roster, but instead you sat, cowered down, and turtled up.
Now we know for next time. Learning experience.
There you go.
It's growth in every opportunity. The only thing I did get from last night's game, trivia questions. Time for Wilde and Tausch trivia, presented by Vortex Golf. Caller number 9, since it's been 9 years since I last covered a Brewers game at American Family Field. 844-770-3776. Caller number 9, 844-770-3776 to play Wilde and Tausch trivia, presented by Vortex Golf. Today's category, straight from the Brewers media notes. I had the little program in hand last night, took some fun facts from that, and said, let's make these into trivia questions. Straight from the Brewers media notes. Caller number 9, 844-770-3776. We will play Wilde and Tausch trivia, presented by Vortex Golf. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
We're on the Bucks.
Putting $20 million of dead cap on your books for the next 5 years is bad business.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
It's way worse to lose Giannis. That's horrible business.
100.5 ESPN, Madison's home of the Bucks.
Mark Tauscher here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott Garrett and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there, my friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. It's my go-to spot for birthdays, anniversaries, and any special occasion. For quality jewelry and a great experience, choose Chalmers Jewelers, the place to go for that perfect gift. Stop at Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by your Badgerland Chevy dealers, proud supporters of Badger Athletics. Go to BadgerlandChevy.com.
With your Badger Minute, I'm Riley Yauk. Nick Osen of Badger 247 joined myself and Pablo Iglesias on the Jump Around Thursday afternoon and shared some insight into what he believes is a much improved Wisconsin football team.
I think that there's an honesty that, hey, we need to be better. We need to have better personnel and just really kind of go all in terms of what you can do defensively. I think team's in a good spot. Culture's in a really good spot. And now it's just about, hey, can you get back to that bowl game and hopefully get one or two of those marquee wins?
For windows with the strongest resilience, you need the Pella experience. Get 0% interest for up to 5 years if you order by July 31st at PellaWI.com.
When you've been injured, you need a winning team on your side. Gruber Law Offices will fight for the results you deserve. Call Gruber Law Offices today, a proud partner of your Milwaukee Brewers. One call, that's all.
College students, are you looking to make your campus living more comfortable, functional, and fashionable this year? Let IKEA help. From innovative storage solutions and furniture to maximize your space, to fashionable bedding and accessories to make it uniquely yours, IKEA is helping make college living truly inspired by you. And now, qualified college students can save even more with 15% off their IKEA purchase when they sign up for IKEA Family for free. Visit IKEA Oak Creek, IKEA Schaumburg, or check out the Ready for College section on IKEA.com/US to learn more.
The sound of summaries on ESPN Madison.
The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Madison's home of the Brewers.
At the track, at the wall, jumped up. Jackson Chario brought it back.
Catch every Milwaukee Brewers game this season on 100.5 ESPN.
And watching it sail, it's a grand slam.
Brewers baseball on ESPN Madison is presented by Hard Rock Casino Rockford and brought to you by the Pfister Hotel in downtown Milwaukee.
Hey, Drew and Jonathan Scott here. Build a customized renter's policy with American Family Insurance so you can protect your tandem bike on the go. Thief! Oh, he is struggling with that two-seater. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Some exclusions may apply. Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI and its operating companies. 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This fall, there's only one place to be, Camp Randall Stadium. Wisconsin football returns with can't-miss matchups, including Maryland, Iowa, Washington, and more. From the first touchdown to jump around and the celebration of the fifth quarter. Experience the traditions and unforgettable memories that make Wisconsin football so special. Single-game tickets are now on sale. Lock in your spot today by visiting uwbadgers.com or call 1-800-GO-BADGERS. Wisconsin football game day starts here. We'll see you at Camp Randall.
For official rules and more information about every contest on 100.5 ESPN, visit ESPNWisconsinContest.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN app.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Tausch on Wilde and Tausch today and tomorrow. Jason will be back on Thursday when we're at the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin Experience Center in Brookfield. Come on out and enjoy the show on Thursday morning with us there, along with all of our ESPN Wisconsin, 620 WTMJ, and 1017 The Truth shows, all on site at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin in Brookfield on Thursday. I was at the Brewers game last night, and while it wasn't very fulfilling talking to Pat Murphy and some of the players afterwards, I did get 3 trivia questions that we strummed up from the Brewers media notes, and that's the subject of today's Wilde and Tausch trivia presented by Vortex Golf.
Wilde and Tausch Trivia is brought to you by Vortex Golf. Rangefinders you can bet on.
We welcome in today's contestant, Steve in Waukesha. Steve, good morning. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch. How you doing?
Doing great, boys. Doing great.
Superb. Hopefully you don't turtle up during trivia like I did during Pat Murphy's press conference last night. Brewers media notes questions here for Steve in Waukesha. Question number 1. Now, I did hear trivia yesterday, by the way.
You didn't like it.
Hunter.
It was a long weekend. I was easing the fans back into it. Again,
you might as well ask what's 1 + 1. And I mean,
okay. I am just more supportive of the Wilde and Tausch fans than you are. You come up with a derogatory name for the YouTube chat.
True. Yeah, they've embraced it.
Yeah, I'm just nicer to the fans. I support our fans better than you.
That's nice of you. Steve, these are going to be tougher than yesterday, but I think Steve is ready for a challenge. Isn't that right, Steve?
Yeah, I sure am. Bring them on. Bring them on.
There we go. Question number 1. Freddie Peralta is the lone all-star representative for the Brewers this season. It's the first time the Brewers have had just one all-star since which closer was the lone representative in 2017? Was it Guillermo Mota, Corey Knebel, or Ricky Stinicky?
Corey Knebel.
God, he was good when he was healthy.
He was good.
Ricky Stenicki, that was a movie.
That was a
right?
movie with
Very
Zac
good
Efron
movie, if I
and
remember
John Cena.
correct.
Yeah.
All
It's
right.
fun.
Which division is the only one which the Milwaukee Brewers enter play today with a losing record cumulatively facing this season? It's not an easy question.
It's not an easy question, but once you get
So who do we have a losing record
can
versus?
deduce.
Is it the AL West, the NL Central, or the NL West?
Man, Jesse, you are tough.
Hey, think it through, Steve.
Let's go.
Take your time. Think it through.
Hey, which division do they have a losing record against?
Yep.
Yes.
The only one that they have a losing record
Well,
against.
We haven't played the West. Hardly anybody in the West yet in the AL. The NL we have, I don't know. Let's go Central.
He was thinking about it. It is tough.
And they beat the Dodgers. They've had success versus the Padres, I think.
No,
right?
the Padres took 2 of 3. Had a tough go in Arizona back at the start of the season.
Yeah.
The NL West is the correct answer. 8 and 9.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'd fact check this.
8 and 9. I have the
No,
notes
I mean,
if you'd
I
like
would
me to
fact
fact
check
check it. This is one of the rare times I can.
If I really was fighting for another entry, I'd fact check. I bet you're always going to have some type of an appeal, and you're probably going to have a better chance to win than not. But continue.
Steve, are you a big fan of superhero movies?
No, not at all.
Well, then you are not going to enjoy this next question. And a celebrity
Great.
guest appearance, Hunter Vaughn has question number 3.
All right, Steve. Andrew Vaughn became the first Brewers player to hit a home run in his first at-bat with the franchise since Gabe Gross did in 2006. The same year, which of these superhero movies debuted in theaters? Was it Spider-Man 2, The Dark Knight, or Superman Returns?
I picked the wrong day to call in.
Yeah, you did, Steve.
I
That's tough.
think you're right about that.
You got a 1 in 3 shot. That's the good news.
Let's go with The Dark Knight.
Dark Knight was a little later.
Yeah, Dark Knight was 08. It was Superman Returns.
Yeah. Was that a good one, Hunter?
It was fine.
Okay. Thank you for the review. Steve, I'm guessing you're going to say this trivia was not fine, and that's on me. We're overcompensating for yesterday. It's really Hunter's fault if you think about it.
My fault for supporting the fans. Okay.
Steve, you're one of the real ones, though. We appreciate you tuning in as always, and thanks for playing. You still get 2 of the possible 4 entries for the Vortex swag bag, which we will do our drawing for on Friday of this week. Good luck.
All right, thanks. Love you guys.
Steve in Waukesha. Appreciate you playing
Bye.
Wilde
Love
and
you
Tausch
guys.
Trivia, presented by Vortex Golf. Was that too hard?
Last 2 are pretty tough.
All right.
But I don't mind. It's always a balancing act on trivia. You don't want to make it, again, easy, medium, semi-difficult. That's how I would look at how it goes. And I would say yesterday was probably easy, and semi-easy, whereas today was probably a little too difficult.
This felt like a Friday level trivia.
Yeah,
that's
after
true.
a long week
Yeah.
of good trivia play.
All right, we'll get it right for Wisconsin Geography Wednesday tomorrow. We'll find that happy medium. Coming up next, we will switch to Packers conversation. Jason Wilde, no surprise, he hedged during his countdown to the top 20 most important
Only guy
Packers.
I know that can get 33 players in a top 20 list.
Doesn't want to leave anybody out.
There is 13A and 13B on today's list of the most important top 20 Packers of 2025. We will talk about the wide receivers coming up in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
Hi, this is former Badger Pro Football Hall of Famer Joe Thomas. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison. Good Karma Brands radio station.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
What is up, Madison? I'm Hunter Vaughn. Your Sports Center update is brought to you by Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison for generations. Check them out at 220 State Street and online at goodmansjewelers.com. The bats were hot early as the Milwaukee Brewers plated 5 runs in the first inning on their way to a 9-1 win over the LA Dodgers last night. A part of those 5 runs was a 3-run blast from the best last name on the team, Andrew Vaughn.
And the 2-2. Fly ball, deep left. It is up and it is gone. Welcome to the Brew Crew, Andrew Vaughn. Yamamoto threw the slider one too many times, and Vaughn hit it into the Brewers bullpen in deep left center.
The Brewers still have 2 more games to go in their 3-game series against the Dodgers. Tonight, it's Clayton Kershaw, who just threw his 3,000th career strikeout, taking on Jacob Mizorowski. First pitch for that game is going to be at 6:40. You can hear that game right here on 100.5 ESPN. Hour 2 of Wilde and Tausch starts now.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch. Jesse and Tausch today. No Jason Wilde today or tomorrow. He'll be back on Thursday of this week. Some well-deserved time off continues, but that doesn't keep him from his other job. Writing at channel3000.com where the top 20 countdown
So before we get
continues.
into that, I just posted something on Twitter/X, and I kind of want to get an idea of how we view this roster and who is the best Green Bay Packer at their position. I really think there's only 2 guys to even put in the list because Jordan Love, we went through quarterback position. I don't think anybody's going to put him in a top 5 at the quarterback position.
Yeah, so you're saying in the NFL, who's the best at their position?
Because I want to get an idea of where we're at roster-wise. I think we've delved in and know the offensive line. If there's a show that covers the offensive line more than ours, I want to see it. I don't think there is.
Not.
I don't think the wide receiver position gets looked at as deeply as that what we have. And I would put none. I think O-linemen, there's a couple of guys that I could maybe make a case for, but I really think this comes down to 2 players when I'm looking at this list, and that would be Josh Jacobs and Xavier McKinney. And I don't think Xavier McKinney is going to get the love. I don't know if we put nationally if they would put him in a top 5 at the safety spot. I think I would, but I don't know. There's a case to be made for other guys. I know Baltimore's got a good safety, the Notre Dame kid. Xavier McKinney last year was one of the best in the business. And then I don't know from a running back standpoint, Josh Jacobs, and when we were talking yesterday about this, Saquon Barkley had almost the same amount of yards pre-contact that Josh Jacobs did. That's an O-line thing.
And that's why they've retooled the O-line.
I think there's a piece to that why, and Jason brought up an interesting question of, was this more to protect Jordan Love or to get the running game going? And obviously the answer is yes and yes, but I do think this was made to be more effective running the football. That's why you brought Banks in. That's why you moved Elton Jenkins, and that is, I think, a key part of what Green Bay is trying to get done this offseason. But to answer my own question on Twitter, Josh Jacobs is the answer to me.
You think Josh Jacobs is the best running back in the
I think you can make a really good case.
League.
So Saquon's 1, who's 2?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Tausch. We will table the conversation about the top 20 most important Packers where Jason hedged in his article today. We'll get to that coming up in a little bit.
He needs to rephrase that to top 33 or more.
Yep. The top however many he feels, depending on how he can write about the most amount of important players. But in the meantime, it is time for Power Rankings Tuesday, where over at ESPN.com, the annual anonymous survey from Jeremy Fowler, ESPN NFL writer, surveying players, executives, and coaches,
so there's a lot of stuff that ESPN does that I think is kind of clickbaity and blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
I like
like
this.
every other sports
There's a
site.
lot
these are fun.
This is because you are everything is subjective, right? I think this is interesting in the fact that he's getting anonymous sourcing and he's ranking players, he's ranking things, and then it gives you jumping off points to agree or disagree.
So this did debut yesterday. I've heard many of our ESPN Wisconsin shows have talked about this. We might be last to the party on it, but that's okay. You don't know it yet, which is good. You don't know what the top 10 running backs in the National Football League are ranked according to players, executives, and coaches surveyed by Jeremy Fowler.
I do not.
So, do you want me to start 10 to 1, or do you want to go 1 to 10?
You pick what you want.
We will start at the top because it is no surprise. Saquon Barkley is number 1. After the year he had last year, helping propel the Philadelphia Eagles to a Super Bowl title, how good he was when healthy with the New York Giants, and what that franchise has looked like since he left versus what the Eagles have looked like since he arrived. I think everybody's on board with Saquon Barkley, number 1 on this list.
He has earned the right to be number 1, and it's pretty much unanimous, yes.
So you would have Josh Jacobs number 2.
No, I didn't say that. I need to, again, think through who else is in that conversation.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you. Number 2, Derrick Henry of the Baltimore Ravens.
I would, Derrick Henry's great. Derrick Henry is now with Baltimore and with Lamar Jackson. That makes everything easier. I got Jacobs ahead of Derrick Henry.
And this is a new perk for this list from Jeremy Fowler. He lists where the player's highest ranking has been in all time in his series, which he's done this several years now.
He's definitely been 1
and Derrick Henry has been 1. Last year, he was ranked number 9.
Yeah, he had a good year with Baltimore. I think his time with Tennessee, the fact that everybody could load boxes and really focus on stopping him, can't do that in Baltimore. That's why that was such a good fit and why he resurged back into where I would think is a top 5 guy.
So this is where it's going to get interesting. Number 3 is not Josh Jacobs, but it is an NFC North running back.
Okay.
Jahmyr Gibbs of the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. He's a share-a-back, though.
Multifaceted, can catch well out of the backfield.
Explosive. I think his explosivity is better than Josh Jacobs, but if it's on a down-to-down basis and you're asking to be a bell cow, Josh Jacobs. I can get around on that. I'm not going to go there. I don't think Jahmyr Gibbs has proven enough to overtake Josh Jacobs, especially when you ask, what are you asking of this player?
So I think we're going to start to see an interesting dichotomy here in this list. We'll talk about that in a minute. Number 4 is not Josh Jacobs. It's Bijan Robinson of the Atlanta Falcons.
Special talent. I don't know exactly what his numbers were last year. He is a bell cow. He did. He tried to do everything. I can understand if I'm doing Atlanta sports talk. I can understand that. I can understand it. I still don't think it's not unanimous enough for me with the track record of Josh Jacobs and how great he was last season for this team. I can't put Bijan ahead of him.
So again, we had
he's still at 2 for me. Nobody has passed him.
Saquon Barkley, multifaceted. Jahmyr Gibbs, multifaceted. Bijan Robinson, multifaceted. And when I say that, I mean pass catching ability.
Didn't Josh Jacobs have some catches last year?
He had some, but not as many as these other guys.
Okay.
I can check the official stats and compare, but I don't think nearly as many. Same thing here at number 5, Christian McCaffrey.
No. Hurt all year was ineffective. Now,
and that's the interesting thing, how durability is factored in.
The
here.
history is great. He would have been 1 last year. He would have been ahead of Saquon.
He was number 1 last year.
Bottom
in the
line
rankings.
is, and this is the cruel, hard, cold NFL. What have you done for me lately? And Christian McCaffrey is going to have to prove he's back healthy. He was not healthy last year. He was ineffective, and that's a big reason why the 49ers missed the playoffs.
Number 6 is Josh Jacobs.
And I understand where the Jeremy Fowler stuff. I can make a really good argument he's second. And I don't know if they're going to be able to, if we're going to find a Green Bay Packer ranked higher, even 6 might be the best ranked that we've seen. I don't know where they'll have Xavier McKinney or if he's broke down safeties. Josh Jacobs, I think, is definitely a top 5 back in this league, and I have him probably at the 2 or 3 slot. You could kind of pick your poison. Jahmyr Gibbs, really good player. I understand why you could. McCaffrey, no chance. Derrick Henry, his history is great, and he had a really good season last year, so I can't fight you that hard on it. I think the lowest you could put Josh Jacobs would be 4.
So just real quickly, rounding out the top 10, number 7 is Jonathan Taylor, who you think belongs on the Wisconsin Badgers Mount Rushmore.
He definitely deserves
Number 8, James Cook of the Buffalo Bills. Number 9, Joe Mixon of the Texans. And number 10, Alvin Kamara of the New Orleans Saints. That's
I don't
your
have
top
a problem
10.
with any of that. I think the Josh Jacobs part of this, he's definitely not 1. I could make an argument he's 2, but I think you could settle with him at 3, 4, and I think everybody would say, yep, that makes sense.
So here's my takeaway from these rankings from Jeremy Fowler over at ESPN.com. I think there's 2 types of running backs now that we can look at in the National Football League, and it's not necessarily fair to put that blanket statement on them. But you have the running backs who are both utilized regularly as traditional running backs, but also pass-catching options out of the backfield and present a new dynamic for your offense. The Christian McCaffreys, the Saquon Barkleys, the Alvin Kamaras. And then there's the more traditional bulldozing running backs, Derrick Henry, and to me, Josh Jacobs fits that mold. What this survey tells me from Jeremy Fowler's rankings at ESPN.com is that players, coaches, and executives value the pass-catching running back a lot more now at that position, and it's created a more important role for that position that we didn't see for a number of years.
I agree somewhat, but Derrick Henry's not a great pass catcher out of the backfield.
No, he's not great, but he's so good at what he does, just blowing people over, that that's how he's made his name. Josh Jacobs is kind of the same thing.
What my point is to you is I think you're trying to spin a narrative that you want to have versatility. Well, no blank.
I think the National Football League is spinning that narrative.
That list is not as versatile as you think. Yeah, Gibbs is versatile. McCaffrey's versatile.
Bijan?
Somewhat, yes.
Last year, I looked up the receiving targets. I couldn't find total receptions on this site, but Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, and then there was one other one on here, all had about 20 more targets than Josh Jacobs did on the entire season.
And that's one a game.
That's one stat, but targets is also like it could just be a broken play, the pocket's collapsing, you just throw it near him, so you never know.
My point on this, and where you could, if you're going to fight me on the Josh Jacobs component to this, it's big plays. I would argue executives, players, coaches are all looking for big play guys, explosivity, and Saquon gives you that. Gibbs gives you that. McCaffrey, when healthy, gives you that. Josh Jacobs, you could make an argument, does not. And whether or not that's fair or not, that to me is more than catching a couple swing passes or screens. Now, those things are important, and you do see Gibbs, and when McCaffrey's healthy, they utilize those matchups, and if you have middle linebackers that can't cover, they will find you. I don't know if that is ever going to be Josh Jacobs' thing, and if that is going to be the delineation point of why he's not one of those top guys, he's still a top guy because of how effective he is running the football.
I think he definitely carries the weight of being one of the recognized great running backs in the NFL. I mean, he's still number 6 on the list. That's still top 25%.
And I don't know if there's
really
another Packer that will be higher. I don't know that. I don't know if Fowler went into safeties.
We haven't done all the positions yet, but they're coming out every day or two here, so we'll keep an eye out for the other lists.
In your guys' opinion, anyone going to be ranked higher than 6th on Fowler's list than for the Green Bay Packers? I think the only other guy in the equation is Xavier McKinney.
And I think McKinney, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head of some other safeties around the league. I think he could be recognized.
Detroit's got a guy.
Top 5.
There's some good safeties in this.
Because, I mean, he was recognized very highly when he left the Giants and came to Green Bay last year, and he didn't do anything last year
for the Giants to pay him, which is still.
But he didn't do anything last year to compromise how he was viewed when he left New York.
He had a bigger boy season than any he had in New York. I would think Xavier McKinney would be higher than 6th.
Is there a chance, because thinking about the quarterbacks in the league, you go through, obviously, Mahomes, Jackson, Burrow, Josh Allen, and then maybe that 5 to 6 do people around the league?
No,
he's not there yet.
I know. I'm just like, there's maybe a chance that like enough of them say it that he sneaks in there.
No. I think he'll be a top 10 guy. I think he'll be 8 or 9. And that'll be at the highest I think he could be.
Yeah.
He had too many mistakes last year, and he wasn't as consistent as he needed to be to kind of validate that what we saw. Now, I think last year at this time, he maybe would have been higher. But because of his turnovers and I think just the overall narrative of his injury last year, I need to see more narrative about Jordan Love than maybe there was even last year, which sounds insane, but I think that's the narrative that's out there.
Yeah, you and Jason have talked plenty on this show about, I think Jordan Love right now is looking at 9th or 10th on an NFL list of where he ranks among quarterbacks, and if he can limit the interceptions and if he can, whatever your definition of take the next step is in leading the Green Bay Packers this year statistically or wins-wise into the postseason, I think he has a chance to move up that list, no doubt. But right now, he's near the bottom of the top 10 when we look at NFL quarterback, which is not a bad place to be, but compared to his predecessors and where we want the Packers to be competing for championships, he needs to be higher on that list.
Yep, I'd agree.
So Xavier McKinney, I think, probably has the best chance.
Xavier's going to win this.
We'll keep an eye out for what that list looks like from Jeremy Fowler as they publish at ESPN.com over the coming days, probably week or two, as we lead down the countdown to the start of training camp for the Packers on July 23rd. We will be there up in Green Bay on Wednesday, July 23rd. Okay, so that was the discussion of the running backs and the power rankings there. We will switch gears and get to Jason's top 20-ish countdown coming up next. Don't go anywhere. It is Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
It's always a beautiful experience coming out to the ballpark. Many fans prep in the parking lot amongst our legendary tailgaters. When you're ready for new windows and doors, prep for those at the Pella Experience Center in Brookfield. See, feel, open, close, and compare dozens of window and door options from different Pella lines side by side. And if you order by July 31st, get 0% interest for up to 5 years on Blue Mountain Road or visit PellaWI.com today.
The biggest games.
Back-to-back state championships. Still going, lowers his shoulder into the end zone. Touchdown, Wanakee.
The most compelling stories.
Where are you going to be playing basketball next year?
I'm proud and excited to announce that I'll be going to the University of Charleston.
We are now joined by the Executive Director of the WIAA, Stephanie Hauser.
The area's best high school sports coverage is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here with an offer for a bath or shower remodel from Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get $1,000 off your Lugstone shower remodel and no interest financing for 12 months. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know it's not just a car, it also drives your children's dreams. So whether you're going to soccer practice, robotics club, or opening night in the school play, we help protect those dreams. Save up to 23% when you bundle auto and home. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Summer is the time for heading out to Elkhart Lake and enjoying the high-class racing at Road America. ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Bruss talks with driver Graham Rahal about what he loves about the track and the atmosphere at Road America.
When you come to tracks in the Midwest, like Road America, what is it like for you to race in front of that type of crowd that you probably grew up racing in front of for a majority of your life?
For me, on a personal level, Road America is my favorite. So, really highlights what's great about IndyCar racing, the speed, the braking capability, the cornering, all of those things. And I think It's just a great track to go to each and every year. It's just a track that we absolutely love. I think you've got always that Midwestern sort of love, and feel to it. The fans are extremely nice. They're very passionate. They're excited that we're there. So I feel like Road America is always just a great fit.
Find schedule and ticket info today at roadamerica.com.
I knew that we were going to be getting engaged soon and needed to do some ring shopping. Heard the radio ads of Chalmers and decided, hey, we should give it a shot at Chalmers.
They were just awesome at accepting us through the door and understanding what she wanted in terms of how she wanted it, and they delivered.
Everybody always is telling me how sparkly my ring is. They tell me that they really like the style of the ring and the setting that it's in. I am ecstatic with it.
Thank you, Chalmers.
Summer is here, and there's no better way to celebrate than with Door County Distillery. Hey, it's Alex Stroh. I've been telling you for years how great Door County Distillery is. Locally produced, handcrafted, and award-winning spirits made locally in beautiful Door County. The sun is shining, and so can the Rock Island Rum from Door County Distillery in your summertime cocktail. Otherwise, vodkas, gins, whiskeys, brandies, and more, it's all available from the award-winning Door County Distillery. Find a huge list of unique cocktail recipes and the retailer nearest you, DoorCountyDistillery.com. That's DoorCountyDistillery.com.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
Wilde's countdown of the top 20 or 27 or 38 most important Packers of 2025 continues 53. At channel3000.com. Yeah, he's actually just got every guy on the roster. And then a couple of the guys that we know aren't going to make it are still on
maybe
that list
a guy
too.
They might pick up.
And then a future prospect for next year.
A Zach Bond type guy.
I heard that's the key to winning.
Before we get to the wide receivers, which will be the main discussion of probably the remainder of our show, to be honest, because there's a lot of good stuff to dissect from what Jason wrote about today at channel3000.com. Let's just do a quick recap here from Jason's list of the top 20 Packers of 2025, because there were a couple, and I know you guys didn't get to all of these yesterday. There were a few that published over the weekend while we were gone for the 4th of July. So we talked last week. Number 20, Luke Musgrave. Number 19, Matthew Golden. Number 18, Evan Williams. Those are the three we've talked about on the shows. If you missed any of them, check it out on the ESPN Wisconsin app. Number 17 is Brandon McManus, the kicker. Number 16, Nate Hobbs, the newcomer at corner from the Las Vegas Raiders.
So is it most important Packers? McManus, I can't argue that he's important, and obviously what he did, solidifying things, and I know he missed the kick in the Philly game, but I don't have a problem with him being 17. He's an important piece to what they're doing, and I think the special teams solidified themselves when he was signed.
I think that's, and I heard Gabe Neitzel say this on the State of the Packers show, I think it's a vastly underrated, you've said this before too, actually, come to think of it, it's a vastly underrated thing that Brian Gutekunst did last year, going and getting Brandon McManus and stabilizing kicker, because that was, I don't even know if arguably the biggest question mark.
No, it was
going into last training camp.
We spent a lot of time discussing the fact that he's just hoping, and I thought this is one of the cases where Goody maybe got caught with his pants down a little bit. I think they thought going to be a little time. We have room for growth. He kept saying, let's let these guys grow together. And the problem is you can grow as a wider. You can have some drops. Kicking is not afford that luxury.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just let a kid kick through things when you're young and you're trying to win games. The expedited success of that first year as Jordan Love as the starting quarterback, the only real casualty in that growth was Anders Carlson.
Yep.
And whether or not he can kick in this league or not, I would bet that he's going to end up being a pretty good kicker in the league. He was not afforded that luxury because you can't give games away, and that is such a zero-sum make-miss deal that if you're missing too many like he did and wasn't consistent enough, that cost him. And this, again, is why I give Brian Gutekunst a lot of credit and why some people, Ned and some of the other folks, give me a lot of grief, is Goody is not afraid to make the big boy decision. When it's called upon, he has been very cutthroat. He did it at the backup quarterback position, and it won them 3 games last year by being cutthroat and not being, I want to see this kid grow. I want to see this. Quarterback's another position where it's fine if you can be a backup and do it, but when something happens, you better be prepared. And for Goody to make that tough decision at kicking and then also at backup quarterbacking, I think are 2 of the most underrated pieces to last year's team. But because the team ended up being kind of blah, nobody really looks back at those decisions and the fact this team maybe doesn't make the playoffs if they don't do that.
And the fact that McManus came in and instantly won the game against the Texans in October at the buzzer. Like he first game, last second field goal, goes straight through and wins it. It added this calmness every time the kicker came out that we didn't feel for 2 years.
Trust
it was crazy.
And stability in the special teams game is everything. He provided that.
Yep. Underrated. Brandon McManus at 17. Nate Hobbs at 16. We don't know exactly what his role will look like this year.
We don't know anything. I know Jason watched film and said that he's physical. We shall see. But the bottom line is they knew Jair Alexander wasn't coming back. There was this hope that, well, maybe he will, and it would have been great, I think, had they figured something out. And in the grand scheme of things, with what they ended up with what who ended up Baltimore signed him for, it's going to be one of those, they made a good decision, or what the blank were we doing not giving him $4 million guaranteed to come back. That is going to be a storyline as this season goes, and I'm sure it will culminate in December when the Green Bay Packers play Baltimore. But Nate Hobbs needs to be a really good, steady player. I don't need him to be DB1, but he needs to be on the field, and he needs to have a significant role in that secondary in order for this signing to make any sense.
I think Nate Hobbs is properly ranked at number 16, but there's a chance he could slide up in his significance for the success of the Packers season throughout the course of the year.
With the storylines of this NFL season, I think 16 is too low. If he's sitting here at 16 or not in the top 20 of the most important Packers, I think we made a miss, and I think the secondary position was bungled. Nate Hobbs needs to be a contributor in a big way.
So that was 17 and 16. Number 15 was the first time we saw a tandem duo
that's not true.
from
I think
Jason.
18 he tandemed up to.
No, 18 was Evan Williams. He was good with Evan
there was
Williams
another tandem in there because I remember giving him grief. But
Quay Walker and Devontae Wyatt splitting the number 15 spot.
Both of these guys need to be top 10 players for this defense to be the next step elevated into being consistent enough to say that's the strength of the football team. End of the season last year, defense was the strength of the football team. That's why they drafted and why they put the resources into the offense the way they did, because they saw that this defense is coming. And I'm guessing Edgerrin Cooper is going to be a very, very high selection in this. Both of these guys are first-round picks, but one got the fifth-year option, one didn't. There's talk of Quay Walker maybe getting an extension before the season. I think that'd be great. Quay Walker is a really good football player when he's healthy, and I think he was coming on. For this defense to be the turnover machine and what they're looking for from Jeff Hafley, both of these guys need to be, and just went through the rankings, they need to elevate their stature on a whole league-wide scale from what they are. Devontae Wyatt has flashed. Quay Walker's been more consistent. This defense is built for Devontae Wyatt. It's built for a defensive tackle to get up the field and cause chaos. I didn't see enough of that last year from him. I saw flashes, and part of it is injury. He needs to have a big boy contract year and put a lot of pressure on Green Bay to pay him Bonko dollars. If that is the case, there's going to be a lot of positivity about this football team.
Do you believe Devontae Wyatt will make that jump this year?
I would at this point say no, because I haven't seen the consistency to do it. And this isn't some first year going into second year, and he's going into his fourth year, if my math is correct. I haven't seen enough of it yet. I've seen enough flashes to know that he can do it. Am I going to see 16 or 17 weeks of somebody that opposing offensive lines are like, oh boy, we need to really take a look. And then all of a sudden that edge rush that gets so much grief, going to be a lot better if we have somebody. I'd like to see Devontae Wyatt elevate himself into being what Cullen Jenkins was for our Super Bowl team. Cullen Jenkins may be one of the most underrated Green Bay Packers we've ever seen. The impact that he made on the teams he was a part of, and it was interior pass rush that helped Clay make plays. You don't realize you can handle edge guys with chipping and other things. If you have somebody in the middle of a defense that is really hard to block one-on-one, it changes the whole dynamic of how you call defense and how you rush the passer. Last year, I think one of the biggest misnomers, we all got after edge. Edge wasn't good. Oh, Rashawn wasn't good enough. Preston Smith, we got to get him out of there. What Lucas Van Ness? I think Lucas Van Ness is going to get some cracks at being Cullen Jenkins. I think Devontae Wyatt is. That is the position that needs to upgrade just as much. I think we've all looked at the edge. Oh, we need Hendrickson. We need all these guys. And that's all great. But if this pass rush is going to get a lot better, it's going to come from the Wyatts, LVNs. That's where Carl Brooks, those guys need to elevate. And I think a big reason why we saw a little shakeup in that defensive line is because these guys haven't taken that jump.
So good segue then into, you talked yesterday about Kenny Clark checking in at number 14 on the list. And so Kenny Clark is another guy up front. And Hunter actually has an update for us because Jeremy Fowler's latest list is out. Defensive tackles is who he surveyed, players, coaches, and executives.
I don't think we got one in the top 20. Do we?
Top 20, you don't think?
Hunter?
Well,
good news is there is one in the top 20. Somebody did receive votes.
Kenny?
Yes. Kenny was the first one listed for receiving votes. Last year, he was number 9.
So that would make it like 11.
Oh, so it's just top 10.
Well, there's honorable mention. So he went top 10, and then you have, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 honorable mentions, and then Kenny is listed, so 16.
Yeah, 16. Yeah.
So he's top 20.
Yeah.
So he's in theory, middle of the road in the NFL. If there's 32 teams, he's number 16.
I think it's also important, as this was something that was talked about earlier in the offseason, that guy from Dallas, Osa Odigizua, as a possibility of coming in. He was the last one on the received votes, so he'd be, it looks like just about number 21.
So with Kenny, there's question marks, right? He's getting older, and I don't even know if he's 30 yet. He might be right on that cusp, but he has played a lot of football and a lot of snaps, and he was beat up last year. Got foot injuries or whatever happened to him, toe, in the game in Brazil. And I give him a ton of credit for gutting it out. This is the point in your career where you start getting the questions from the front office and from everybody that judges players. How much you got left in the tank? And I think it's a fair question. I think Kenny Clark he is a Packer Hall of Famer. He has had a great career here. He has done, I think, for being a first-round pick, a young guy that just kind of grew into his spot, he has been great for this team for a long time. He wasn't last year. He just wasn't. And there's always, a bunch of factors that can go into that. I think Kenny Clark feels like he has a lot to prove this season because he got his extension, but I would bet that if things don't go in an upward trajectory from where he was last year, this could be his last season in Green Bay.
So that brings us up to number 13 for today. We'll tell you which 2 wide receivers share the number 13 ranking in Jason's top 20 countdown of the most important Packers of 2025, and we will do that next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Get ready to unleash the dragon at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Introducing the region's very first $1 million Dragon Link slot game. Feel the thrill, chase the excitement, and win big with jackpots soaring to $1 million. Your chance to hit it big is here. Come experience the ultimate gaming adventure. Visit Hard Rock Casino Rockford today and play the $1 million Dragon Link slot game. Your legendary win awaits. Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Let's hard rock. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Chevy trucks have you covered when the road takes you from smooth sailing to Chevy Colorado will eat up some of the toughest terrains with 5 available drive modes. And Silverado and Silverado HD have the muscle to take you out for some serious with multiple engine options and impressive towing. While Silverado EV is the perfect combo of performance and capability. Nice. Making it a snap to hitch up this electric truck and hit the road. Wherever the road leads, Chevy trucks are right there with you. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Celebrate Happy Gilmore 2 at the Bridges. On Sunday, July 27th, play in the Be Happy 2 or 4-person scramble for $120 per person. Includes 18 holes of golf with a cart, prizes, and dinner. Find more details at golfthebridges.com today.
All day, every day, the Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
The ESPN Madison Open, presented by Coors Light, is back. On Monday, August 4th, the ESPN Madison crew is packing up our bags and teeing off at TPC, Wisconsin for a day on the links. This year's Open is benefiting Mentoring Positives, a nonprofit based right here in Madison, dedicated to uplifting youth and families through mentoring, athletics, and youth entrepreneurship. The ESPN Madison Open, also brought to you by Carbless, Zimbrick Honda, Siding Unlimited, Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison, Clear Vision Pro Wash, and Vortex Optics.
Hey, this is Jeff Levering with the Brewers Radio Network, and I've got a question for you. Is your home ready to shine this season? Whether it's roofing, siding, or windows, Ridgetop Exteriors is the name you can trust. For over 20 years, Ridgetop Exteriors has been Wisconsin's favorite for roofing, and they bring that same expertise to siding and windows. Imagine vibrant, low-maintenance siding and energy-efficient windows that brighten your home while cutting energy costs. Ridgetop Exteriors holds all expert-level installation credentials with the leading manufacturers, including Pella, James Hardy Fiber Cement Siding, and LP Smart Side Engineered Wood Siding. With thousands of 5-star reviews and a commitment to excellence, they're the clear choice for home improvement needs. Plus, consultations and estimates are always free, so there's no reason to wait. Call Ridgetop Exteriors today or visit ridgetopexteriors.com to schedule your free consultation. Ridgetop Exteriors, putting customers first every time.
Ridgetop Exteriors is the place for you.
The Bucky Badger Student Mascot Fund was created to support the amazing student athletes who bring the best mascot in the world to life.
Hey, this is Gene Cho, Bucky from 03 to 05. Most memorable moment? Definitely getting arrested at a football game for crowd surfing as Bucky. Oof. Maybe not the best shining moment for Bucky.
Your donation will help fund new scholarships to ensure that the rich tradition of Bucky lives on. Learn more at supportbucky.org. That's supportbucky.org.
Waiting to see a general surgeon? With Stoughton Health, it's always easy access, with most appointments within a week. And with over 160 insurances accepted, you're covered and in good hands. For more information, visit stoughtonhealth.com. Stoughton Health, creating excellence together.
When you've been injured, you need a winning team on your side. Gruber Law Offices will fight for the results you deserve. Call Gruber Law Offices today, a proud partner of your Milwaukee Brewers. One call, that's all.
We're on the Bucks.
Putting $20 million of dead cap on your books for the next 5 years is bad business.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
It's way worse to lose Giannis. That's horrible business.
100.5 ESPN, Madison's home of the Bucks.
Jesse and Tausch on Wilde and Tausch. No Jason Wilde today. He's back on Thursday, but the countdown continues.
Starting to think that the clock management is not Jason's fault.
You don't say.
Because we're only 2 segments in this 10 o'clock
We
hour,
are,
right?
yes.
And it's almost 11 o'clock.
That is correct, yes. And no Bulaga today.
There's no
either.
Bulaga
no
to
Evan.
blame, no Cohen, no Jason.
Who are the other common denominators this could possibly
and
be?
I'm not even going to blame Hunter.
Yeah. He's not here every day.
You think it's me?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe I'm the problem.
Yes,
that
I
sounds
do.
like Morgan Wallen.
So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to unveil to you right now who checks in at number 13 on Jason's list of the most important Packers of 2025, and then we will further discuss coming up on the other side of the break. Checking in At number 13, there are two names on the line from Jason Wilde. Hedging at 13A and 13B, it's a pair of Packers wide receivers. At number 13 in the top 20 countdown of the most important Packers of 2025, Jayden Reed and Dontavion Wicks. Jayden Reed and Tay Wicks checking in at number 13.
Yeah, and I know, Hunter, yesterday we discussed the State of the Packers show that Jason and Strophe and Gabe did down at Summerfest. The Gabe Neitzel commentary on Jayden Reed, which we're going to get to, I think, because I did ask you for audio and you are the king of getting audio. I don't realize, or maybe I was mistaken, that the Packers have not targeted or maybe emphasized Jayden Reed as much as we all thought, because to me, I've looked at this for the last couple of years and just assumed Jayden Reed is going to be one of the guys. There is going to be a kind of a running, you know how they the English folks chase that wheel of cheese that rolls down a hill?
Sure.
Yeah.
Most people fall, break their leg, and they don't get there. Getting the cheese, I thought of all the wideouts lined up on that hill, and that wheel of brie is rolling down the hill. I thought Jayden Reed be the one for sure that's going to get the cheese. And then I didn't know what else because there's so much uncertainty. To me, Jayden Reed was the safest pick that was going to get that cheese. And the more I'm looking at it, maybe that was mistaken. And I know we'll delve more into it, but as far as who's going to need, yeah, they're both very important. How you could get both of them, I don't know how Jason, I have not read it, so I don't know how you could frame that. Is Matthew Golden going to be higher on this list? I would venture to say yes, he will be. And is that fair? No. That's the reality being a first pick in the first round at wide receiver in 23 years. There's going to be some expectations.
Golden was number 19, I believe.
He already was on the list.
On Jason's list, he was number 19.
Okay, I think if you're going to put these guys at 13, maybe Jason is looking at it trying to shield young Matthew Golden.
He might be.
I think Matthew Golden needs to be a bigger part of the offense than 19. And I don't think right away is he going to elevate himself past, but he certainly will have to be better than one of these two. One of these two elevates themselves. Matthew Golden is not going to be sitting on the bench come Thanksgiving. He is going to be playing if he's healthy. Then it just comes back to who's going to join him. Early in the season, I think it's going to be more focused and maybe play-driven and let him get his feet kind of on the ground and figure out what he's good at. But you don't draft a kid 24th, 23rd,
24th, yeah.
Whatever it was overall, in a position group that is going to have to start weeding itself out. You don't do that if you don't have a big role planned for him. And unless he is not up to the task, which by all accounts, listening and watching, he's going to be good. He's fast. He's got everything you're looking for in a wideout. He is going to need to be above one of these two guys as far as the pecking order goes in the wide receiver room.
We're going to talk plenty more about how Jayden Reed and Tay Wicks could impact Matthew Golden or vice versa. We're going to hear commentary from Gabe Neitzel, Jason Wilde from the State of the Packers show. All of that is still coming up after Tausch tells us about Kohler Services.
Yeah, and we have an offer from Kohler Services for a beautiful shower or bath remodel. Family-owned business for 150 years. Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life, and this month only, $1,000 off your Lugstone shower remodel. No interest financing for 12 months. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote. Fast professional installation. Oh, that is always included. Again, that is KohlerServicesWI.com. And Monday, Old T's going to get back to work. Hard hat, mall. I don't know what exactly I'm going to be doing, but the winner of the ugly shower contest, and it was an ugly shower.
It was an ugly shower.
I get to go beat it down.
Yeah.
And then the Kohler service, that fast professional installation we're talking about, they're going to be ready to roll once we get that ripped up. And I cannot wait. I think that we're going to be doing that on Monday. Maybe going to be providing a little behind-the-scenes commercial break stuff for the Wilde and Tausch stream if we could figure out how to do that, which I'm got my fingers crossed.
I think we're pretty confident we'll be able to get that done. Are you going to be only on the demolishing crew, or are you going to be on the... You're not installation.
To install.
Yeah, I would trust you to demolish Tausch. I'm not letting you install
Here,
anything.
go take that tub down, but stay away from
just
putting
for the
new one
record,
up.
just so you guys know, I used to do concrete. I have been in the construction
You're a handy
world.
guy. Yeah.
I am not a handy guy. Not at all.
But not plumbing, electrical.
No. And by the way, it's illegal.
Yes.
To do that.
Also, okay, I just real quick, I'm sorry, but like the guys that just do that and like aren't trained at all to do it are insane human beings because that's incredibly
they're
dangerous.
Very handy. Yeah, but if you're doing that, that means you trust that because you kill yourself.
Or you're a lunatic.
It could be both. I think a lot of people, those folks, if you're doing, again, we're not recommending and or advocating, just to make sure we cover all of our bases.
That's good. We like that.
I don't want to. Don't do it. Hire a certified,
Kohler
Services has got the certified installer.
Fast, professional, easy installation.
Absolutely. But yeah, if you're sitting there threading out like plumbing and doing you're buyer beware. Bring your own bewaredness.
I worked at a hardware store. The number of guys I would see multiple times on a Saturday trying to do plumbing stuff and buying a lot of pipe then. Like, dude, just get a plumber.
You know what? I will say one of the most underrated and I think fun things is you get that glue in the bottle. You got to shake it up, and it's got like the round knob, and you do the glue to put plastic, the
PVC glue.
Yeah.
That is as fun of a glue as you're going to get. Like, everybody's got the wood glue and the old pasty white glue. That old glue that you rattle that little deal around and you shake it up, and then you got the little round ball at the end of it that you put on, you plumb it.
Yep.
That's a fun hobby.
It is, unless you have to clean it up.
And it smells, too, but it's kind of that fun smell, if you know what I mean.
A good smell.
I'm going Elmer's glue stick is my number one in my glue
Hunter,
power
quick
rankings.
question. When you're at the theater with your mother-in-law.
Gee, I wonder why we're off the clock.
If somebody was
Who could it be?
If somebody was smoking some you-know-what behind you,
yeah,
what are you doing?
Oh.
Why don't you take a beat? Because I know we got to stay on the clock. Take a beat. I'm curious to see what you and your mother-in-law
talk about Jaden Reed and Tay Wicks?
No, we
This is
will.
a good conversation we've got. Now when you're talking about
we
smoking
can start the
stuff
11
in the
o'clock
movie
hour
theater.
with Gabe's comments and everything else. We have to get back on the clock. But I'm interested what Hunter would do with his mother-in-law.
Where did this question even come from?
Because I hadn't been to the theater in a while, and there were some ganji smoking fools behind us with my kids, and I was wondering what's the right play here. And I'll be curious what Hunter has to say, and we'll do that next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is our crew.
A drive, left center, deep. See you later, Caleb Durbin. Turn out the lights.
You're listening to Madison's new home for Milwaukee Brewers baseball, 100.5 ESPN.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Steinhoffels. Their Memorial Day sale has been extended. Last chance to save 10% off store-wide and take advantage of Steinhoffels' 18-month 0% financing only at Steinhoffels.
Nick Osen of Badger 247 joined myself and Pablo Iglesias on the Jump Around Thursday afternoon and shared some insight into what he believes is a much improved Wisconsin football team.
I think that there's an honesty that, hey, we need to be better. We need to have better personnel and just really kind of go all in terms of what you can do defensively. I think team's in a good spot. Culture's in a really good spot. And now it's just about, can you get back to that bowl game and hopefully get one or two of those marquee wins.
For windows with the strongest resilience, you need the Pella experience. Get 0% interest for up to 5 years if you order by July 31st at PellaWI.com.
Bringing summer gatherings to the next level is just another thing we do at Celebrations Entertainment. Hi, it's Jeffrey. With rental items like sound equipment, photo booths, and even yard games, you can make your event the party that everyone talks about. Any event like graduation parties, block parties, or even a backyard barbecue can be elevated with fun, interactive items to make everyone ask, hey, how'd you pull this off? Just tell them celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
Siding Unlimited is Wisconsin's leader in Pella window installation. In fact, we are Wisconsin's only Pella Platinum Premier Certified contractor, and we've won Pella's prestigious National Contractor of the Year award 5 times. It's easy to get started. The process starts with homeowners meeting us at Siding Unlimited's amazing showroom on 2018 South Stoughton Road in Madison. Trust me, our showroom is a must-see. Looking for new windows, siding, roofing, and doors? Visit us at sidingunlimited.com or stop by our beautiful showroom in Madison.
When you're in the right place at the right time, things get done. The important things, like knowing what you need and how it all works. Talking truck. Fixing it right the first time. At Zimbrick Chevrolet, our people get it done right and now. That's how you know you're in the right place at the right time. And you'll never overpay at Zimbrick Chevrolet.
Take your game to the next level with Vortex Golf. This employee-owned brand out of Wisconsin brings you premium rangefinders like the Blade, Blade Slope, and the Anarch, packed with features like image stabilization, pin spotter mode, and rock-solid accuracy. Backed by a legendary no-questions-asked VIP lifetime warranty and unmatched customer service, Vortex has you covered. Ready to upgrade your gear? Visit maplehillgolf.com and search Vortex to see the full lineup. Vortex Golf, you can bet on it.
Tuesday on Joe and Q, one NBA team is playing the blame game, but should their fingers be pointed at themselves instead? Plus, the top 5 additions in the NFL ahead of the 2025 season. Joe and Q, ESPN Radio, and the ESPN app.
You get a newfound appreciation for Jason in this seat when you get to do it a few days in a row or over a few weeks.
What exactly does that mean?
I think you know. You're one of one, and that's awesome. And it's just hard to feel like we're really trying to dive into, the hardcore football fans want to hear what we have to say about what you want to say.
Did we not just do a full hour on breaking down different Packer players, their importance to the team?
They did, but there's these awesome numbers that you've been teasing that Gabe Neitzel brought up on the State of the Packers show about Jaden Reed and his role in the Packers offense.
I would argue the last hour could not have
been
been more in-depth Packers stuff than if you tried to.
And somehow you teased us out saying you want to talk about the ganji smoking fools in the movie theater.
Yeah.
That's relatable, though. Everyone has had some moment in a movie theater or at a game where somebody is being a fool around you, and how do you handle that?
Yeah, that's life.
So is this a situation you've been in?
Yes.
Okay. Recently?
Yeah, I haven't been to a movie in forever. It was, I think, the back end of the 4th, I think it must have been Sunday. We had baseball. Sunday night. Eleanor is all in on the Mission Impossible series. She loves it.
Oh.
Sarah loves it. I didn't need to go. I like saving those things for airplane rides. So I actually pretty much steer clear of movie theaters because I want to save some of these movies, especially newer ones, for when we're heading to Oregon for the football game, or when we got our trip coming up. There are things that I'd rather just let's hold off on it. This wasn't one. This was good to go. Tom Cruise is the last great movie star. I don't know of anybody that puts more of their heart and soul into it. It was a really good movie. Loved the movie. I thought it was great. I'm glad we went. But there was some ganj smoking fools.
Like, were they lighting up in the theater,
I don't
or
know.
had they? Okay.
It was because this movie's been out for a while. It's a smaller theater.
Sure.
So it was just more intimate.
So my first question: could you have moved if
No.
you
No,
knew the people were sitting near
It was
you?
very limited seat because it's a small theater.
Okay.
So if the place was probably almost completely full.
So my first move, if it was me, like tonight, if I do
And
go
just
to,
by the way, I don't care. Like I've been around enough. I've seen that.
Yeah.
But when my kids are like, "What is that?" Oh,
Yeah.
that's that.
It's a tough spot.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, "All right, well, what are you going to do about it?"
My first move, if I was by myself, like if I go to this movie tonight by myself at 9:00 at night or whatever after the
You'd
Brewers
say,
game
"Give me
is
a little
done,
something."
I would not. My
Okay.
first move would be to move away and go find a different seat if
Right,
the
there's
theater
no
isn't
seats
there.
available.
But no seat available.
You're going to go up to the manager and say, "Hey,
No,
mister,
I'm not
hey,
gonna go to the
mister,
manager."
This young man back there smoking some of that grass."
I think if they're I think my move is act like go to throw something away or go to the bathroom. So then as you're coming back in, if they're behind you, you can see, are they lighting up in the theater?
What if it's like a vape pen?
Yeah. Then I'm gonna go say something to somebody working there.
You're not going to say something
If it's
to
a
them.
if it's a group of people, yeah, I'm not going to say something to them.
What if
I
it's
will tell
four
people to
punk
shut up though
16-year-olds?
if they're talking.
Is the movie already started?
Yes.
Okay. So I think you can't do the interaction once the movie has already started. And this could, for me, this could be any. This could be this. This could be smacking a gum.
You're gonna turn around and tell somebody to stop smacking their
when
gum?
we're at the
I'll come smack your gums.
When we're at the Overture Center, you should see some of the looks I give people. If they're popping gum behind me
Let me tell
while
you
there's a
something. Your
quiet
looks
scene.
ain't doing anything. You're gonna say something.
No, the looks get it done sometimes. The looks.
Isn't it dark?
The
hall monitor nickname just fits so well
he's not
for
a hall
you.
because he's not. Hall monitors go up and say, "Get your butt back to class." They don't give you a side eye and say, "Oh, you got to be vocal."
But policing people chewing gum, I think it's weird
Why?
to chew
No, I
gum
don't care
at
if
the
you ain't
lie to you.
Overture.
You do that to
but-
me, I'm gonna blow a big bubble in your hair.
You can chew gum. Why are you popping the gum, making
Because
a bunch of
that's what-
noise?
I agree, it's annoying.
That's stupid. It's
How about
so
you,
irritating.
Hey Jesse, how about you lock into the musical you're seeing
I'd
more?
like to, but
when
when you're out to dinner, do people just smack the chips if they're eating them as loud as possible?
I
No,
mean, I've
they
been
don't.
around
You eat
people
them
who do
quietly.
that.
Why is gum the exception
What
to
if
that?
somebody's
I don't want to
spitting
hear what you're
tobacco?
doing.
Does that bother you?
Yes.
That bothers you.
When's the last time you've been somewhere in public where someone's spitting tobacco?
They got a splatoon.
It happens. So
Does
there's people chew tobacco.
Well, yes, understood. I think if it's during
So
the movie,
you're going to side eye this person
I'm going
and
to
hope
side
that
eye. Yeah,
makes
side
it happen.
eye's the first move. Try to get it done that way. If that doesn't get it done, you can't interact with the person speaking during the movie. You have to get up and go talk to somebody.
My
If
wife
it's gonna
and I had
get
this
to that point.
conversation because this was back in the fall. We went to see Wicked, and there was an older gentleman that was talking to his wife during the movie. And I leaned over. I'm like, "Hey, can you stop talking during the movie? I can't stand it when people talk during movies." And
Don't sit next to us then, because I love talking.
So
during
different
movies.
than smacking your gum during a movie. Yeah.
I love getting
very
caught up.
different.
Like, hey, what happened there?
Noise is
I love
noise.
doing that.
Oh no,
I like getting caught up.
Nope, hate that. But my wife reminded me that people are, like I said, with the doing their own plumbing or electrical when they aren't certified, people are lunatics. So she has definitely started to train me into don't say anything to people because you don't know if they're a crazy person or not.
It's especially I used to make it known on the highway, like, hey, what the blank are you doing? And I've reined that. I still probably am more so than I should, but I've reined that in a little bit.
I had a random lady yesterday while I'm just driving, literally was in my lane, have no idea what was going on. She just all of a sudden starts laying on the horn, gives me the single finger.
I love when people do that.
And I'm just I literally have no idea what I was doing. I was speeding. So it's not like she got behind me or anything. I didn't move lanes.
Were you in
it was
the left
weirdest
lane?
thing. No, I was in the right lane.
God, that doesn't bother me.
It was
I actually
so weird.
I thrive on that when people get irritated with me about that, because normally I'm
That's on
very
brand.
attentive. No, I enjoy that part of it. Marcus on Twitter just tweeted, "Tausch, you should have taken a page out of Costanza's playbook where you turn around and you get in the guy's face." It just didn't bother me as much. Because that stench is you in the Madison area. It's around.
Yeah.
Pretty,
it's everywhere
pretty
now.
common.
If I'm by myself, it's not that like I'm just gonna power through it, and I might not be happy about it, but I'll power through it.
Gum chewing though.
But no, gum chewing, absolutely not. Way more annoying. If I'm with kids, I'm not in that situation. I don't know how I would handle that. I shouldn't be advising you on how to parent anything.
I wasn't asking you to.
I think you if you are concerned about it, you would go talk to somebody if the movie has started. And I think Hunter makes a good point.
All right.
If you are injured in an accident, Jason always recommends this advice you should listen to. Call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Proudly serving Wisconsin for over 30 years and a proud partner of Wilde and Tausch. We thank David Gruber and his team. Gruber Law Offices, one call, that's all. Driving down to Milwaukee, going to the Brewers game last night, even in American Family Field around the stadium. You can see all the signage for Gruber Law Offices. Big Brewers fan, you know that. Big Wisconsin sports fan, David Gruber, and Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of Wilde and Tausch, serving Wisconsin for over 30 years. Gruber Law Offices, one call. That's all. Back to wide receiver talk, I think, in 2 minutes as we start the 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
The UW Credit Union member Mark Tauscher here. People ask me, old T, why did you join UW Credit Union? Well, is it to keep your banking local? Is it the member first service? Great perks like early payday? Absolutely. But honestly, between us, it's Bucky. I can't say no to that face. If you love Wisconsin like I do, you just can't pay with anything else. Fandom makes us do crazy things, but this just makes sense. Become a UW Credit Union member and get your Bucky card like me. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
This is former Wisconsin linebacker Chris Orr. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison, a Good Karma Brands radio station on Wisconsin.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
What is up, Madison? I'm Hunter Vaughn. Your Sports Center update is brought to you by Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, home of smoke-free slots and the highest payout percentage in the area. Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, more spins, more wins, more fun. The bats were hot early as the Milwaukee Brewers plated 5 runs in the first inning on the way to a 9-1 win over the LA Dodgers last night. A part of the 5-run first inning was a 3-run blast from the best last name on the Brewers roster, Andrew Vaughn.
And the 2-2. Fly ball, deep left. It is up and it is gone. Welcome to the Brew Crew, Andrew Vaughn. Yamamoto threw the slider one too many times, and Vaughn hit it into the Brewers' bullpen in deep left center.
That win for the Brewers sets up Game 2 of the 3-game series tonight. It'll be a 6:40 first pitch as the future Hall of Famer Clayton Kershaw takes on Jacob Mizorowski. Again, first pitch for that game is at 6:40. You can hear it right here on 100.5 ESPN.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch. Jesse and Tausch today. Jason on assignment will be back on Thursday when we're at the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin Experience Center in Brookfield. Come on out, say hi to us and all of our ESPN Wisconsin and Good Karma Brands teammates that'll be out doing all of our shows there that day. Going to be a fun day Thursday at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin in Brookfield. All right, so we unveiled Jason's countdown of the most important Packers. Number 13, it's a split, a tandem between Jaden Reed and Dontavian Wicks. Yesterday on this show, you, Tausch, made a request to hear Gabe Neitzel's breakdown from the State of the Packers show at Summerfest from over the weekend, which I listened to in its entirety.
Jason said there was some provocative statements by Gabe.
There was, and this was a big unveil. Gabe had a sheet of paper that he removed from his pocket to make sure he had all the information correct that he had prepared for the show. It was a big deal when he did this, and it was, I thought, the most compelling thing that was said in the 3-hour State of the Packers show. And again, I listened to it in its entirety. The Green and Gold Fix podcast on the ESPN Wisconsin app or Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe, download, get them, rate, review, all that fun stuff so you can catch the State of the Packers show. I understand it was the 5th of July. A lot of people like me were out of town, but if you're driving back, if you have a chance to sit out, grilling out tonight or any other time this week, make sure you listen back to that State of the Packers show. It's going to be good for a few weeks as we count down to the start of training camp. Here is what Gabe Neitzel said about Jayden Reed's involvement in the Packers offense and how it compares to some of his contemporaries around the division.
The coaching staff, they think he's a good player. They don't think he's that good based on his playing time. And I dove into this. So last year, Jayden Reed only played 63.2% of the snaps as a wide receiver, which out of context probably doesn't make a ton of, okay, what does that mean? So I looked at some of the other number 2 wide receivers in the division. Jamison Williams played 79.3% of his snaps. Rome Odunze, 84. Jordan Addison, 81.8. Jayden Reed has never reached any of those numbers that those guys are averaging in a single game. And his snaps continued to go down as we went last year. You brought up Dontavian Wicks, who overall played a less percent of their snaps than Jayden Reed did. So Wicks ended up playing more than Reed in 5 of the last 6 games last season. Wow. So part of Reed's production wasn't just the drops. It was also the coaching staff wasn't putting him on the field for an opportunity to make plays.
Gabe Neitzel on the State of the Packers. Lot to take there.
That is really interesting data.
Mm-hmm.
The snap percentage, there's injuries. I think Jayden Reed missed a few games. I don't know how that factors in, if it was prorated or whatnot. But the interesting part of it, there's a couple things that I noticed in Jayden Reed last year. Started off, obviously, a great game right out of the gates. He did some things early in the season that I think, okay, he's taken that step. But the part that was the most discouraging for me was there was a game, I don't think he had a catch, or if it was he had a minimal productive game. And, of course, the conversation that week was we need to get him more involved. Matt LaFleur, we need to get him more involved. Never happened. And when you're a big boy, like a big-time producer, they find ways to get you the football. And when they don't, you wonder, well, why? And I would ask Gabe, why do you think they played Wicks in 5 of the last 6 games more snaps? Was it that there's something wrong with Jayden Reed? Or is it that Dontavian Wicks is better upside and maybe it's a practice habit thing? Maybe it's, we all poo-pooed and didn't make any big deal about Jayden Reed hiring a new agent and that conversation that, should have stayed private, didn't. Wanting to know what his role was with another wideout. And, I got after him a little bit because what have you proven in this league? You're not some guy. You don't – I'm always player empowerment, but there's some points where it's just like you just got to kind of keep it down. Just go play and prove it. It's where I think these guys are all at. There's nobody on this team that is a made man. So – there's reports of what Romeo Doubs is looking for and that he was going back and the Packers were not interested in working out a contract. They're trying to let, as I always say, that cream rise to the top. And that's where you get the butter fat and the cheese and where you make all the good stuff. And right now you got a bulk tank full of milk. I don't know how much cream there is. I don't know how much ladling off you're getting and where you're going to get that good grassland butter. I don't have the answers to that yet. But those stats that Gabe just put out there are very interesting, and I hadn't thought that the coaches don't like Jayden Reed. Coaches play the guys that they trust and that are going to be productive because coaches want to win. I don't care if you're coaching 14U baseball or if you're coaching the NFL. You're going to put guys out there at the end of the game to win. And when that stat line comes out and those numbers come out, I think they view Jayden Reed as – he's nice. He does some good things. But do they view him in the same light that the other coaches view their number 2 wideouts? Obviously, those answers are no. And I think Gabe did a great job of highlighting that.
And remember the final stretch of games that Gabe was talking about there where Jayden Reed was getting less playing time than Dontavian Wicks. Those were significant games in the division race, in the wild card race, the postseason positioning race.
And again, I don't know the injury. That stuff gets, but there would be, trust me, Drew Rosenhaus or his representation would make sure that narrative is out there if it was an injury-related deal. I think the Green Bay Packers, if they could, their preferred guys, I think they would want Romeo Doubs, and I know Watson is obviously not available. If they're going 3 wides right now, Jayden Reed would be 3rd. Right now.
Behind who?
I think you'd have to look at it and say it's going to be Doubs and Wicks. And then Jayden Reed would be more of a slot guy or something else. I always felt like it was Jayden Reed is going to be your 2. Who's going to elevate Matthew Golden? Who's going to be for 1? I do wonder if that narrative that Gabe just put out there that I kudos credit, and I am a citer of people's good work, unlike some other people on this program. Gabe bringing this up, I do wonder if that was a part of why Savion Williams was drafted in the 3rd round.
Because you didn't mention Christian Watson, but when he's healthy, and if you think he's going to be back by Halloween, like you said last week when Brian Bulaga was on, so suddenly if we start saying Watson...
By the way, is it fair for me when Jason brings up that someone has a ton of good points, and I ask for one example, is that rude? Because, Hunter, I felt like he thought I was rude by asking, well, give me an example. And then he got, of course, all defensive. Well, tell me something Bulaga said last week. And then I gave him 3 things, and then he's like... He got all mad at me about it, and I didn't think that was fair.
If I may, you put me in the exact same spot with the Terry Bradshaw show at the Hard Rock Casino.
If you're going to make a comment like that, have at least... I'm not asking you to recite everything, but, oh, my God, that show was great. Well, what made the show great? Well, I don't know.
I told you what made the show great, and then you said, what was his best joke?
Yeah,
and,
what was... You
it
said
was
he's
hard
so
to remember.
funny.
Like, he didn't have
he's
one.
So funny.
I'll defend Jason here.
Of course you will.
No.
You know what? I don't know why I even asked this. The fact
Tausch,
you guys are
I
so
power
scared.
ranked his
You're
Facebook
scared
marketplace
of a
for you.
53-year-old
I'm not afraid of Jason. I'm not afraid of Jason at all. Don't start accusing me of that.
I'm afraid of Jason a little bit.
I don't. You guys are like afraid he's going to get mad at you.
No.
Embrace him getting mad at you. It's fun.
I'm just trying to be the voice for him since he is not here to defend himself.
Do you feel like you have to defend him?
No, I'm trying to have that additional voice. It doesn't matter to me. I thought it was funny and it was good content. You two going back and forth, bickering like an old married couple.
That's what people like the most about
It's amazing to me. I asked for one. Gabe Neitzel was phenomenal. He goes, phenomenal. Great. And I said, what was the best thing he said?
Jason?
And you would have thought that I asked him to break down a cosine of a rhombus of some kind of algebra or trigonometry, whatever. And he got mad. And I'm looking at it like, this is simply, you do this in your life. You ask for examples and follow-ups and storytelling. I asked one thing, and it was like I asked him to split the atom.
I think Jason and our thought on the show and recapping State of the Packers was that since Jason was literally on the show, we wouldn't go to very much of the other stuff and talk about what Jason had thought about things. That was that. So I'm just saying that I think that was his thought on it. Like, why are you asking me about Gabe? Like I was there
because he said Gabe was awesome.
Yes,
he said it was the best stuff. He said he was the star of the
Tausch.
show.
I understand.
What made him the star of the show? Why was he so And by the way, what just came up right here is really good. He's right.
Really good.
That was unique and different, and I give Gabe a ton of credit. It's awesome. I had not thought of it in this way. I have been, I guess, pushing the narrative that I think Jayden Reed is going to be the one guy that's going to catch that cheese wheel running down the hill in England. And this makes me pause and think, maybe the coaches aren't even going to let him get up on top of the hill.
You're really liking this cheese wheel analogy, aren't you?
It's a good analogy.
The second time you've gone back to that one today.
And Hunter's not even afraid of me, so he can just speak honestly in front of me.
Exactly.
I am so amazed that you guys are fearful of Wilde.
I'm not afraid of Jason.
No, you are.
I am.
I don't know why. It is so dumbfounding to me as a human adult that I would be afraid of Jason J. Well, it amazes me because you two aren't the only people here that are.
I'm not.
Okay. Well, if I may step in for Jason here.
No.
He just thought that you wanted to.
Hang on. No.
That's what just happened.
If this was the other way around, and
you'd bury me.
I would not.
Okay, I'm not going to tell you what to think. I'm not. So
hey,
continue.
It's Jason Wilde for Associated Bank.
Oh my God, I'm so scared. What is he going to say about Associated Bank?
From mortgages to everyday spending and even job searches, your credit has far-reaching impact. That's Associated Bank. Includes Credit Monitor with Associated Balance Checking and Associated Choice Checking. Get a quick glance at your credit health, monthly updates of all your credit score, automatic email alerts of changes to your credit, how your credit score is trending, graphing its movement month over month. And if you already have Access Checking, consider upgrading to Balanced or Choice Checking. You got this with Associated Bank, member FDIC. We'll continue the wide receiver conversation with Wilde and Tausch with Jesse and Tausch. Straight ahead. Stick around.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Mark Tauscher here, encouraging you to save money and help save the planet by making an energy switch to Everlight Solar. Whether you're saving up to buy tickets to a big game, spending more on family trips during the summer, or gearing up for a big purchase, we're all trying to save money, right? Well, making the switch to solar is a great way to not only save money, but also help save the planet. Our family recently made the switch to solar, and we love it. At first, we weren't just quite sure where to even start. That's when we met the great team over at Everlight Solar. From the very first conversation, they educated us on the benefits of solar while also helping keep the process simple. Join us in saving a ton of money and creating a greener environment for our family and the community by switching to solar. Learn more and schedule a free consultation at everlightsolar.com. That's everlightsolar.com.
The Milwaukee Brewers, the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. And what a start for the Miz. Listen to this crowd.
Tonight on 100.5 ESPN.
Looking to join an international quality golf club right here in Madison? Discover TPC Wisconsin, an instant classic in the heart of the Midwest. With a course co-designed by Steve Stricker and PGA Tour Designs, it's the 13th and newest TPC Network golf club in the world. Other high-quality amenities include a short game practice area, athletic performance center, and meeting and dining facilities, plus membership benefits that reach around the globe. Schedule a tour at tpcwisconsin.com and start your journey to a lifetime of priceless golf.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com because your next Mercedes Sprinter van is waiting for you.
People travel the world to collect Hard Rock shirts, and Hard Rock Casino Rockford is going to give the people what they want. Get in on the action at Hard Rock Casino Rockford, where all new Unity card signups receive an official Hard Rock shirt, plus free play to kickstart a winning streak. Whether you're spinning the slots or playing the tables, you'll be dressed for success. Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Let's Hard Rock. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
Hello, I'm John Hayes, the owner of Goodman's Jewelers. It's been my pleasure to serve this community from this incredible store for over 4 decades. We stand upon high standards and classic traditions, pillars like honesty and integrity. Stop into Goodman's Jewelers, the longest-standing full-service jewelry store in the heart of Madison at 220 State Street. Goodman's Jewelers, the Diamond Store of Madison since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
What's in your summer survival kit? Mark Tausch here, and I'll tell you what should be. A cooler full of drinks, a comfy lawn chair, and for just $12.99, a large Hut Lovers pizza from Pizza Hut. For a limited time, choose from 4 loaded legends, meat lovers, pepperoni lovers, veggie lovers, and the spicy Hawaiian for just $12.99. Hot, melty, and made to crush hunger. A perfect summer go-to order. Order up before it's gone on the Pizza Hut app. And remember, nobody out-pizzas the Hut. Additional charge for extra toppings, pan, stuffed crust, and extra cheese.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Say what you will about any of us being afraid of Jason Wilde. Our fans are never...
Why are you afraid of him?
He's a grudge holder.
Oh, for sure.
Well, you know that. I know that. He knows
true.
that. Everybody knows that. So you never know. That one, you make one bad move and it might cost you.
I do wonder, this whole Jaden Reed conversation is super. We should have started this earher. That's where driving
you
the
don't
show
say.
should have got this going.
What an idea.
God, come
quarter
on,
to
Jesse.
11 instead. But
my bad.
The stats Gabe put out there, and I just think I've looked at this that Jaden Reed is going to be one of your core players moving forward. And I think that needs to be brought into big-time questions as training camp approaches. That is no longer, even in my head, and I have been the Jaden Reed over Dontavion Wicks cheerleader. Jason has been Dontavion Wicks. Maybe I've had it wrong. I'd be curious what the coaches, how they view it, because we'll see that those first joint practices, who's lining up where, what reps, where are they getting them? Who's out there with Jordan Love? Because the only thing I know for sure, Romeo Doubs will be out there. I don't know anybody. I don't know who else is going to be out there.
844-770-3776. I bring up being afraid of Jason, not to go back to that well, but simply because I know our fans are never afraid to push back with you, Old T. You welcome it. You embrace it.
I enjoy it.
And that's why we go to Keith on the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin Talk and Text line. Keith in Heartland, welcome to Wilde and Tausch. You want to push back on Old T on the Jaden Reed conversation?
I do. Hey, thanks for taking my call. I think what gets lost in all the discussion about all the wide receivers is just how much the Packers offense changed, especially over the course of last season. In 2023, they threw 35 passes a game. Last year, they only threw 28. That was the second least in the league. And over the last half of the season, they only threw 25 passes a game, which is the same that the 1967 Packers threw. Okay,
is that right?
Wow. And that's only 16 targets to the wide receivers a game. And then the other thing the Packers do is the Packers split their targets amongst their wide receivers pretty equally. You know, I think Doubs, Wicks, and Reed all had between 70 and 75 targets, and Watson had about 60. No other teams in the NFL do that. So when you start just comparing, I'll say, global numbers of these guys, they're not playing on the same field. You know, it's a different dynamic based on the way the Packers played football last year. Reed's passer rating when targeted last year, even with the drops he had, was 137 point something. That was the second best in the league. You know, Tucker Kraft also was over 130. He was in the top 10. Reed averaged 15 yards, almost 15 yards a catch. He caught 75% of the passes thrown to him. You know, it doesn't get any better than that. The only thing he's really lacking is targets. And so I think the real question is, why'd the Packers stop throwing the ball? Because that influences everything you say about all these guys. You know, Christian Watson, you know, I mean, passer rating for wide receivers kind of is affected by how far the ball travels in the air. Pretty simple. You throw a running backs, pretty high passing rating, throw a downfield all the time, pretty, you know, not nearly as high. Christian, and the average passer rating is around 95. Christian Watson had 98, but his average depth of target was almost 20 yards. So those are, that's really good numbers. Hardly anybody else produces that. Dalby's passer rating just under 100. The guy who stands out as not being very productive is Wicks. He's only has a passer rating when he's targeted of 80. So anybody who says, and Reed plays, I know Gabe focuses on the snap count, but the Packers basically all their snaps are run out of either 11 or 12 formations. Reed plays virtually every snap in 11, and he doesn't play any in 12. And the reason he doesn't play any in 12 is because the tight end's replacing him. They're rotating three guys through the outside
He's a slot
guys.
guy.
Yeah, and they rotate the other three wide receivers through the two outside positions. He plays slot virtually every play that they're slot. So when you see his snaps go down, it means that their formations are changing. It's possible he's hurt. Maybe
all right, Keith, there's a lot of numbers there. What's the overall assertion that you're making then on Jayden Reed and the Packers
If
offense?
I may, I think Keith is saying that when they're running the football, Reed is not going to be in the game. They ran the football more, and that's why his snap count came down. Is that fair?
Yeah, he's on the field for 87% of their passes.
Okay.
Now that is another great counter stat.
Yeah.
To the Gabenator's other stat.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Keith, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. 844-770-3776.
I'll be honest with you. I'm more confused now than I was before.
So Gabe had a great number, saying 63.2% of
Keith's
snaps.
point is good. Now, I have not fact-checked any of these.
We got Neitzel's numbers and Keith's counter.
Because I felt like Reed is on the field a lot when it was passing the football. But that snap count at the end of the season was interesting to me. The 5 out of 6 and but the bigger thing to me was how Jayden Reed finished the season. He never took that. So many times as a player, they'll figure some things out. And then it's the coaches to say, well, we're going to counter their counter. And a player that is really good figures that out. We never saw that figuring out after the game where Jayden Reed was blanked or limited highly. I don't want to speak out of my mouth and not know what I'm talking about. I don't remember if it was 0 catches or if it was 1, but it was a very low production game for him. And you heard Matt LaFleur say we're going to do some different things. And when that doesn't happen, it makes me ponder. So all of this, whether it is, there's no doubt the Packers ran the football more. They did. And it's because Josh Jacobs was effective, and it was because that was the best way to move the football for this team. Is that why Jayden Reed snaps? Because Jayden Reed is a smaller guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to be, if you can have Bo Melton and Heath in there blocking, you want those guys in there because they're going to do a better job of, probably digging a safety out. And that's, you find your role, right? Jayden Reed's role is when it's 3 wides, we're going to get in there and he's going to find some creative openings. I almost have went through the gauntlet here. I was going to just tweet something out. Now I'm like, I don't even know what the hell I'm thinking because I got on one hand thinking, well, Jayden Reed's not getting reps. Why is he not? Well, I don't care if he's not in there on running plays.
Right. So let me ask you this question because I think both of these stats are interesting. I believe both the stats are accurate.
By the way,
I'm going to subscribe to both of these.
Keith, great job. I think I can't speak for Klinkster and Geriad, but we're going to ask more from we're going to ask more from our analytics department. We're paying less, which I didn't think was possible.
Budget cuts this year.
But if there is something, Keith, if you are interested, reach out to our analytics firm. Because that was a great little nuggie.
Mm-hmm. It was. So I think the ultimate question is this. Do you believe that late last season, and as we know, it happens in high school football, you get later in the year, you run the football more when it gets cold, and you get into the winter in Green Bay, that wins you games late in the season. Do you believe that the Packers philosophically, with what they did this offseason, changing the offensive line to be better at running the football, to emphasize Josh Jacobs and getting him more yards before contact, do you think that they are fundamentally shifting their philosophy as a team to be run first, and that just by product means less opportunities for Jayden Reed?
Here's the deal.
Or
once Jordan Love got hurt in that Philly game in Brazil, the Packers, obviously with Malik Willis, went that way, and then they had success, and they're like, this is interesting. Now, was it...
But they didn't limit Jaden Reed's numbers in week 2.
That's why I'm so confused. And I think this is something... And by the way, I don't mean to just keep pounding this point home. I love when our listeners, our fans, bring those nuggets. First off, we appreciate every fan, but when you bring info like that, again, I haven't fact-checked it, but it's just that is so interesting. The Green Bay Packers and Matt LaFleur, I think, want to pass the football. Everybody says they want to run it, but an old quarterback. I think they saw something with Josh Jacobs in those 2 weeks, and with what Malik Willis was able to do, and they were like, okay, there's more ways to get this done than just having leaning on Jordan Love and doing what we did at the back end of the season before, even though Aaron Jones was very productive. I think that's kind of set that tone for that, but Jaden Reed was still very productive in that. So it really is a conundrum. No, it literally, you can find, and that's why the great part about stats, you can find stats that fit your narrative.
Can make it work. Yeah.
Not always. I don't think there is any question Jaden Reed did not finish the season strong. That is for certain. Why that is the case, I don't think we know, but I do think that the wide receiver position outside of Romeo Doubs, I believe, is wide open for someone to emerge and take some spots. Whereas I think, had you asked me this question last year at this time, I would have told you Jaden Reed is the guy. I think that conversation now is wide open.
It may be different in saying, as Gabe asserted on the State of the Packers show, it may not be that the coaches don't trust Jaden Reed. It may be that the coaches want to run a scheme that is different than what fits Jaden Reed best.
And maybe that is play action run. And when you're hearing people talking about Tucker Kraft being the focal point, I don't think that's good news for Jaden Reed.
Agreed.
Is Jaden Reed going to be a guy that the Packers ship off somewhere to maybe get like a pass rusher
not at
or
this
something?
Point, no. The receiver spot has not flushed itself. Is there a chance down the road if Jaden Reed's not getting snaps? You don't hire a new agent because you're happy with how things are going. So what that means right now, I'd answer your question vehemently no. But at some point, you're going to have disgruntled wide receivers because they're not getting the reps they want, the targets they want. And as young players that have not been paid, heck, there's veteran players that were paid that weren't happy during the course of someone's career. It's the way that position works. That's why having an alpha dog quarterback that distributes the football is a nice perk of keeping that stuff bubbled under. When you don't have it, you start getting lava flowing. Eventually, somebody's going to say, I don't know if I want to be on these hot coals no more.
Somebody's second guess running down that hill after the cheese.
After the cheese. Oh.
Well, it depends if you get an opportunity to go chase the cheese.
You mentioned nice perks. Speaking of nice perks, there will be a lot of them if you come out and join us on Thursday at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin in Brookfield.
Indeed, and for windows with the strongest resilience, you need the Pella Experience. The Pella Experience Center lets you see it, feel it, open, close, and compare dozens of windows and doors from 7 different Pella lines. You can do it side by side, and you can do it Thursday with everybody from the ESPN Wisconsin team, the Truth Squad. I believe we have some WTMJ folks coming out too. Everybody from the ESPN Wisconsin orbit. We'll have people out there. We got all kinds of great prizes, raffles. Every 2 hours, stuff is out there. If you can't make it, head over to PellaWI.com. Going to be all kinds of opportunities as long as you order up your windows by July 31st. You can get 0% interest, and you can do that for all the way up to 5 years. Certain restrictions do apply. Again, come on out on Thursday. Visit the Pella Experience Center in Brookfield or schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Nobody saw the mother-in-law at the movie conversation coming yesterday. We'll see where Whoa Hunter takes us next when Hunter Vaughn takes over the show. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
The UW Credit Union member Mark Tauscher here. People ask me, old T, why did you join UW Credit Union? Well, is it to keep your banking local? Is it the member first service? Great perks like early payday? Absolutely. But honestly, between us, it's Bucky. I can't say no to that face. If you love Wisconsin like I do, you just can't pay with anything else. Fandom makes us do crazy things, but this just makes sense. Become a UW Credit Union member and get your Bucky card like me. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
It's always a beautiful experience coming out to the ballpark. Many fans prep in the parking lot amongst our legendary tailgaters. When you're ready for new windows and doors, prep for those at the Pella Experience Center in Brookfield. See, feel, open, close, and compare dozens of window and door options from different Pella lines side by side. And if you order by July 31st, get 0% interest for up to 5 years on Blue Mountain Road, or visit PellaWI.com today.
Chevy trucks have you covered when the road takes you from smooth sailing to Chevy Colorado will eat up some of the toughest terrains with 5 available drive modes. And Silverado and Silverado HD have the muscle to take you out for some serious. With multiple engine options and impressive towing, while Silverado EV is the perfect combo of performance and capability. Nice. Making it a snap to hitch up this electric truck and hit the road. Wherever the road leads, Chevy trucks are right there with you. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Hey, this is Jeff Levering with the Brewers Radio Network, and I've got a question for you. Is your home ready to shine this season? Whether it's roofing, siding, or windows, Ridgetop Exteriors is the name you can trust. For over 20 years, Ridgetop Exteriors has been Wisconsin's favorite for roofing, and they bring that same expertise to siding and windows. Imagine vibrant, low-maintenance siding and energy-efficient windows that brighten your home while cutting energy costs. Ridgetop Exteriors holds all expert-level installation credentials with the leading manufacturers, including Pella, James Hardy Fiber Cement Siding, and LP Smart Side Engineered Wood Siding. With thousands of 5-star reviews and a commitment to excellence, they're the clear choice for home improvement needs. Plus, consultations and estimates are always free, so there's no reason to wait. Call Ridgetop Exteriors today or visit ridgetopexteriors.com to schedule your free consultation. Ridgetop Exteriors, putting customers first every time.
Ridgetop Exteriors is the place for you.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Bruss talking about our friends at Road America, America's National Park of Speed. Get out of your house this summer and go to Road America, located conveniently between Green Bay and Milwaukee and Elkhart Lake. Come see a race at the legendary 4-mile, 14-turn road circuit that has hosted some of the best races since 1955. WeatherTech Vintage Weekend is up next July 17th through the 20th. Camp on site all weekend and enjoy free admission for kids 16 and under with a paying adult at the gate. Come for the experience and stay for the race. Get your tickets at roadamerica.com.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Join me, Gwen Mahoney, your 2025 Dane County Fairest of the Fair at the Dane County Fair at the Alliant Energy Center, July 17th through the 20th. On Thursday is our Hometown Hero Day. Heroes get in free. At night is the band Ember. Friday has Kids Day activities and salsa dancing at night. The Cars and Cows Showcase hosted by Zimbrick and Cochran & Company presented by Life 102.5 is on Saturday. Entertainment presented by La Movida on Sunday. The Dane County Fair is fun for all ages. I hope to see you there July 17th through the 20th. For more information, visit DaneCountyFair.com.
For official rules and more information about every contest on 100.5 ESPN, visit ESPNWisconsinContests.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN app.
We're on the Bucks.
This was an investment by their general manager, John Horst, in being able to sell Giannis Antetokounmpo, that there is an opportunity to compete in Milwaukee this year and into the foreseeable future.
100.5 ESPN, Madison's home of the Bucks.
I say, hey, I'll be gone today, but I'll be back from around the way. It seems like everywhere I go, the more I see, the less I know. But I know one thing, that I love you.
Something tells me we're going to continue the wide receiver conversation into tomorrow's show, and Brian Bulaga is scheduled to appear. I think he'll have some interesting insights to share on that, especially coming off the conversation we had with him last week. Brian Bulaga is scheduled at 9:30 tomorrow. Hunter Vaughn, on the other hand, scheduled to take over right now. It's Whoa, Hunter!
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocco's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa, Nelly!
On Wilde and Tausch.
All right, gentlemen, because this came up yesterday with going to the movie with my mother-in-law, and I was told that is unique, not strange.
It is unique.
Yeah. Last night I went to the Brewer game along with my wife, my sister-in-law, and my mother-in-law.
Another big one.
No, there is nothing weird about that.
No, not weird at all.
That's awesome.
Not unique.
That's great.
Normal.
Okay. So just as long as there's other people involved, not unique.
If it's you, your wife, and your mom and mother-in-law, there's nothing even remotely
It's just
unique.
an average night out
just
for
a
many
deal.
households in America. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm self-conscious about any time I spend time with the family now.
I'm just dumbfounded that you would think that there's not a difference.
Well,
There's a difference.
wait a minute. How'd you sit?
It went... I was on the end, so it went me. Well, I was at the furthest inside, so me, wife, sister-in-law, then mother-in-law.
So you and your mother-in-law have never been further apart than you were at this Brewers game.
Yeah.
It's a bummer for both of you guys.
I guess I just needed to make sure.
Yeah, no, I think that's completely.
Question about the Brewers game.
Is it not? I mean, is Hunter just being goofy in saying that he doesn't think there's a difference? Because there's obviously a difference.
I mean, I understand that there's a difference when
make sure.
my wife and sister-in-law are there.
I won't speak for Hunter, but I do think he has.
Did you ever mix up? Do your wife and sister look like?
I've told this story before on the air, so
not everybody listens every day.
I know, and that's why I'm just saying that I've said this before, but when the guy that my wife was dating before she and I met, he, after 3 months of them being together, still got her and her sister confused, and that really bothered her because for identical twins, we are separate
sure
people.
That's frustrating.
Yes.
Stop.
So after our first date, and I found that out, I stalked Sarah on social media to find pictures of the two of them together so I could find something to be able to tell them apart, so I never did it.
Would it be weird if you had like a marker and every time you just come over, you'd be like, put just like a dot on her arm?
Very weird.
Like
that
discreetly, like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible.
So what were the big differences? Like what were as you stalked?
Well, stalked is an aggressive word there.
Well, that's the term that millennials use of I went on her social media, I tried to find something.
You Facebook stalk somebody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Find a picture of them eating glizzies and figure it out. Yeah.
I noticed their chins are different. So that was the first thing.
Okay.
And now that I've gotten to know them, their personalities are different. So it's I can tell.
You ask a lot of questions about twins and being. Do you have some kind of experience that you haven't ever shared with us or anything?
No, I think
you seem fascinated by this.
My brother has twins, but there couldn't be more. I mean, they're not identical.
Huh.
They're fraternal.
Whatever that word is. So, but I just think the whole concept. If you're dating a twin, I think there's a lot of content and a lot of things that could just get goofy. That's all.
It was definitely way different than just, she has a sister.
Yes.
Because there's a closeness that twins have, and the fact that they were living together.
She could have never married you if the twin sister hated you. That could never happen.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it was a rocky start at first.
What happened?
It was just, I think personalities, it took a little bit for us to find common ground kind of a thing. But we're good now. There's no issue now. It's just
good
that I know of. But
I guess you have to ask the sister. She'll let you know.
Hunter.
Let's call it there, because I do want to spend a minute in our final segment here talking about the big pitching matchup tonight at American Family Field. Speaking of being at the Brewers game, like both of us were last night. One of the reasons I went last night is because I was jealous that I wasn't going to be able to go tonight. But the Miz versus Clayton Kershaw tonight at American Family Field. We'll talk about that to wrap up this edition of Wilde and Tausch. Straight ahead. Stick around.
This is our crew.
A drive, left center, deep. See you later, Caleb Durbin. Turn out the lights.
You're listening to Madison's new home for Milwaukee Brewers baseball, 100.5 ESPN.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tausch here with an offer for a bath or shower remodel from Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get $1,000 off your Lugstone shower remodel and no interest financing for 12 months. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Bruner Realty, providing excellent real estate and property management services in the Madison area for over 30 years. Contact their team at BrunerRealtyInc.com to get housed today.
Nick Osen of Badger 247 joined myself and Pablo Iglesias on the Jump Around Thursday afternoon and shared some insight into what he believes is a much improved Wisconsin football team.
There's an honesty that, hey, we need to be better. We need to have better personnel and just really kind of go all in terms of what you can do defensively. I think team's in a good spot, culture's in a really good spot, and now it's just about, can you get back to that bowl game and hopefully get one or two of those marquee wins.
For windows with the strongest resilience, you need the Pella experience. Get 0% interest for up to 5 years if you order by July 31st at PellaWI.com.
Free Food Friday on ESPN Madison is brought to you by Vintage Brewing Company. Whether you're looking to get carry-out, delivery, or dine in, Vintage Brewing has lots of great options on their menu. Vintage Brewing Company prides themselves on being a great place to hang out and enjoy classic Midwestern hospitality. Vintage Brewing Company has multiple award-winning beers, so be sure to try one the next time you're in. Head to VintageBrewingCompany.com to make a reservation today. That's VintageBrewingCompany.com.
Looking to join an international quality golf club right here in Madison? Discover TPC Wisconsin, an instant classic in the heart of the Midwest. With a course co-designed by Steve Stricker and PGA Tour Designs, it's the 13th and newest TPC Network golf club in the world. Other high-quality amenities include a short game practice area, athletic performance center, and meeting and dining facilities. Plus, membership benefits that reach around the globe. Schedule a tour at tpcwisconsin.com and start your journey to a lifetime of priceless golf.
Clinky Cleaners has been in business for over 65 years, and they've had document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems for right around 30 years. CFO Sean Young explains why.
Probably the best thing about James Imaging that's worked for us is they're reliable, they're dependent, they always make things easy for us.
James Imaging Systems, AI-driven workflow automation, security enhancements, digital transformation, and local people who make doing business easy.
They're quick to come whenever we need them, point out lots of simple things for us to try to save us some money and save us time and eliminate headaches.
So Sean, the bottom line of having business technology from James Imaging Systems?
I just appreciate the work that James Imaging has done for us. They're always looking out for our best interests.
James Imaging Systems. Make it easy, save money, eliminate headaches. Call 608-221-3457 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
ESPN Madison is proud to partner with Mentoring Positives for our third annual ESPN Madison Open. Mentoring Positives is a nonprofit based right here in Madison and is dedicated to uplifting youth and families through mentoring, athletics, and youth entrepreneurship. As a trusted presence in the community, Mentoring Positives has been helping young people build confidence, leadership, and purpose for 20 years. They're changing lives right here in our community. Visit mentoringpositives.org to make your impact today. That's mentoringpositives.org.
We're on the Badgers.
The schedule, as we all know, it's very challenging, daunting, however you want to describe it.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
He wants guys who want to jump at the opportunity to play against a schedule like that.
This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
All right, one last thing before we let you go. Jesse and Tausch and Wilde and Tausch.
Yesterday, got after whatever the promo was. We basically were comparing the Miz
to Randy Johnson. That
Johnson.
was Chris Canty of unsportsmanlike.
Old Jeff Passan was like, come on!
Yeah, well, he got after me too, so it's nice that he brought someone else down in the wreckage with me. The Miz, a right-handed Randy Johnson, some are saying, against Clayton Kershaw, arguably the most accomplished active major league pitcher. That is your pitching matchup tonight in a nationally televised game, 6:40 on TBS tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's also on the usual FanDuel Sports Wisconsin, and of course on the radio, 620 WTMJ, 100.5 ESPN Madison.
Yeah, and I think we're all excited. He has brought another level of fan intensity where you can be a casual like I am, and then there's Miz is pitching. Oh, maybe I'm going to find my way, because you don't know what you're going to see. You see 102 miles an hour. You get the good battle with Kershaw. The Dodgers obviously are the gold standard now with what they spend and how they win. So this will be another great test. And now this will be the first real sense of adversity that the Miz has faced, because he got rocked around a little bit in New York, and now a chance to battle back, but he's going to be facing a big boy lineup. Can't wait. I will be enthralled to watch, especially the early part of this game.
Also, a very strong likelihood this is the first of back-to-back starts for the Miz against the Dodgers. That's who the Brewers play out of the All-Star break next week. I don't think he'll start before that. So the first of potentially 2 in a row against one of the best teams in baseball.
Let's go!
Brewers, Dodgers tonight. Coverage starts just after 6 o'clock on the radio. Watch it. First pitch at 6:40. Be in your seats if you're going to the game by then. Heard it's going to be a sellout. Plan to get there early. Looking forward to it. We'll talk about that, plus Brian Bulaga tomorrow. It'll be Tausch and I again. Have a great day, as Jason always says. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial-free full show podcast